When you've been injured in an accident, one thing leads to another. Your injury leads to treatment. Treatment leads to hospital bills. Bills lead to debt. Debt leads to stress. The advocates can help relieve that stress. Having an advocate attorney on your side leads to faster resolutions, fair outcomes, and a peaceful recovery for you. You deserve an advocate.
This is the Monty Show, the truth in sports talk streaming. When you want unbiased opinions about your favorite team without the spin, all you have to do is find the Monty Show, streaming live and available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week on YouTube. And now, here's Monty.
Hey, the Monty Show. Happy Football Friday. As always, we are presented by the Advocates at theadvocates.com. Oh, don't forget, all the kids are back in school. This is one of the last summer weekends of the year. Please be careful when you're out there. Be aware of kids on the street. Be aware of all the kids that are on their bicycles and scooters. Have a great time, but if the worst happens, be ready. Get to theadvocates.com, where you never reach into your pocket to pay the Advocates. In fact, you don't pay the Advocates unless and until they win your case. Talk to an injury attorney 24/7, 365 at theadvocates.com. It's amazing we get to talk college football, which I think all of us are stoked about. We have got a huge game in Dublin, Ireland. I think this is one of the most critical moments in Avery Johnson's football career. I want to talk a lot about that game. I want to talk a lot about Avery today. And I'm curious, Jake, your level of confidence that Avery Johnson could step up and be the guy that he never was last year. And I think that's the right way to say it, because I don't feel like there was ever a time last year where we could look at Avery Johnson and say, no question about it, he's going to throw them to a win.
Not at all. And I think that lack of confidence for K-State is what really hurt them last year. And, you've got a lot of people putting them in the CFP this year and, and having them go far. A lot of people saying, hey, they're going to contend to win the Big 12 this year. And, again, it's the old saying of like, once you start playing good teams at the end of the year, once you start playing those good defenses, and obviously, tomorrow for K-State, they're going to play a good defense in Iowa State. But when you start playing those good teams, oftentimes running the football is not as much of an option. You have to throw to win the game. And I think about this game specifically, you're going overseas, obviously, to an environment that you've never been in. It'd be nice if Avery could lead the team a little bit. It'd be nice if Avery had a nice game passing the football, threw for low 60 percentages, didn't turn the football over, was cohesive with the offense. That'd be really nice. That's the type of leadership and the type of game that I'm expecting Avery to come out and have, so they can set the tone for the year. Because I do think, and we saw this last year with Florida State and Georgia Tech, this game very much dictated, the vibes of these teams moving forward. You go overseas and you lose a game, let's say, or on the other side, you go and win that game. That's really going to catapult you one way or the other. So he's capable of it, but it's not like we've ever known Avery to be a massive film junkie, and I don't expect that to exactly change. So I think it's probably maybe a little bit better, but I don't think he's going to roll out and be audibling at the line and look like a completely different guy all of a sudden.
Well, I also think this offense in Manhattan is going to be really focused around the run. You look at those running backs, you look at the tight ends, you look at Avery's ability to run the football. I think, the stats are really hard to overlook. When he throws for 60% or better completion percentage in a ball game, they're really difficult to beat. The problem is you look at games, and I go back to a game like the BYU game where he's 15 of 28 for 130 yards, and he completes 53% of his passes and throws 2 picks and no touchdowns. Let's call that absolute rock bottom. How do you explain what happened against Houston, a really bad football team? BYU, okay, that's a good football team. It's cold. They're on the road. Okay, I can almost excuse that. I look at that Houston game where he goes 23 of 39, and he throws a touchdown and 2 picks. Like, we've got to put those games in the rearview mirror. I think the bar has to be middle 60% completions. if he does that, K-State has a chance to run the table. I believe he is that impactful on this football team. And yes, I agree. They have a lot of loss. That offensive line, I think, has got to be really good. I think it will be good. But you look at the defense that Avery Johnson's going to go up against. That's a really good secondary every single year in this league. And I think if Avery Johnson can complete 63 to 65% of his passes in Dublin, I think they're going to win that game, because it is going to be crystal clear that K-State's going to come out and try and play a physical brand of football that really wears you out. It makes the defense less, willing to drop their shoulder pad level and stop the run in the second half of the football game. That's what K-State's signature is going to be this year. You've got two dynamic backs. You've got all kinds of tight ends, and you've got a really, really mobile quarterback. But the big question will be, can Avery Johnson stand in the pocket and deliver the football, or do we get more Houston and BYU performances than we do? Like, you look at some of his best performances last year, I don't think there's any question. What would you call their biggest win last year? I don't know. Maybe the Colorado game, as crazy as that game was. He completes 65% of his passes, 2 touchdowns and a pick. And I get it was a wild affair, but you look at that game. I mean, he didn't really have a game where he was spectacular against a meaningful opponent. And I think that's the hard part. When I look back at their schedule last year, he completed 43% of his passes against Iowa State. That's just not good enough.
It's not even close to good enough. And that's why I say, like, I think this conversation around, obviously K-State's going to run the football a lot, not just with Avery, right? You've got Dylan Edwards, you have a good backfield, you have a strong running game, you are good up front. So that's obviously a key fundamental of your offense. But I think too often what happens is that you have this situation where Avery doesn't trust what he sees. And that's not a criticism of Avery. It's more a, hey, like, there's something lacking in the week leading up to the game in preparation that is not allowing you to be confident in what you're seeing pre-snap and in what you're going to do with the football. Because in a perfect world, obviously, if you're running a passing play and you're like 3rd and 5, and obviously you're going for a first down, but you're not confident about, like, what the safeties are doing, as an example, or maybe where the pressure's coming from off which edge. Like, those little things pre-snap are what you see Avery struggle with. And it leads to a situation where he's not able to utilize the great arm that he has. He's not able to utilize his athleticism in the pocket. I think, just like everyone wanted to talk about Shador's ability to move and roll the pocket and run for effect, I would like to see Avery Johnson skew that way a little more. I want Avery to run. I don't want him to just forget that part of his game, but I want him to be much more of a guy that moves the pocket when he needs to, just kind of walks away from that pressure a little bit and uses his arm to get the ball down the field. Because the other thing that seemingly K-State fans just forget about is all it takes is one hit on the sideline for Avery to be done for the year, and then all of a sudden your Big 12 championship and college football playoff aspirations are done with. And that's something I don't want to see.
And what is the common denominator in the losses for K-State? Turnovers. His turnovers specific. The BYU game obviously stands out. But those turnovers late in the season where you're losing, you're losing 3 of 4 games in November. Like that's what I want to see him play out of. And you feel like year 2 of Matt Wells, you feel like this is Avery's team fully in his second full-time year and Matt's second full-time year with a really dominant run presence. You feel like maybe they can, I don't know, exercise demons is probably strong against Iowa State tomorrow in Dublin, but you feel like maybe this football team heals itself a little bit with a big performance out of Avery Johnson throwing the football. They can run all day long.
Yeah,
I have no question about that. But when I look at this game, I really expect Avery Johnson to be a completely different quarterback tomorrow. And I know that's probably a
how do you think that
goal.
plays out? Do you think that plays out in him frankly looking better as a passer? What does that look like?
I think he's worked really hard to learn the game of football. I think the physical attributes have always been there. But what I have said, and I know that K-State fan And I understand it, and almost justifiably so. You hate me talking about Avery Johnson on this show. I hear it constantly. But I'm going to tell you again, you win and you lose with one guy, Avery Johnson. And I understand that in a lot of circumstances, he makes spectacular plays on the ground. You cannot sit here honestly and tell me as a K-State fan you trust him throwing the football. I think that changes tomorrow. I think Avery Johnson has spent a lot of time this offseason, from what I understand, working on the mental side of the game, understanding what defenses are trying to do to him and that cat offense, because he undoubtedly will be a better thrower of the football. He is more mature. He worked hard physically this offseason. He will be a better thrower of the football. But if he does not understand the pre-snap read, and if basic sets and the things he's seeing before he snaps the football still fool him, because I think BYU kind of wrote a blueprint on how to defend Avery Johnson. And the thing that should scare you if you are a K-State fan is we saw that blueprint in November being deployed by Houston, certainly ASU. Ran almost the exact same defensive scheme that BYU ran. And Iowa State's always got a really good secondary. I think we all know that.
Yeah. Yep.
That's how you beat, without question, an Avery Johnson offense last year. Is that how you beat an Avery Johnson offense this year? We're going to find out. Do you have to deploy more scheme? Do you have to deploy more disguise? I hope so. Because if Avery Johnson is the same mental quarterback this year he was last year, this is going to be an awfully disappointing season. Because I think they do go, if he's everything that I think he is this coming season, and I think we're going to find out, they cannot sputter. They cannot have first half doldrums. They need to come out and pound the rock, and that is only going to make Avery Johnson a better thrower of the football. If K-State comes out and road grades Iowa State up front, because that's where this game's going to be won and lost. I understand the quarterbacks, Rocco Becht. I mean, we haven't even gotten into his issues on the offensive line, replacing those wide receivers. If K-State's offense comes out and runs down the field and just dominates time of possession, Avery Johnson's going to be a hell of a lot better quarterback this year than he was last year, just by default. Iowa State's going to have an answer for that, I would assume. But I am squarely watching this game to see one guy be better or worse, and that is Avery Johnson. Because if he's not better, and if I mean every game 62, 63, 64%, if he is not significantly more efficient throwing the football, this team will not meet its goals and aspirations.
Yeah, without a doubt. I mean, it definitely hinges on that. And I think that, Rocco Becht is a guy who's not nearly as athletic as Avery is, and plays the game differently. And yet for the season has a lower, or has a sub 60% completion percentage. And I think this game is one of those games where obviously whoever gets out to a quicker start, is probably going to win the game. But yes. I look at this and I would not be surprised. Like, talking about Avery Johnson, I wouldn't be surprised to see a couple of turnovers in this game. Honestly, like I would not be surprised.
So you're not feeling good about him?
I feel good about Avery's development physically and his development mentally, but I also think that there's a chance Avery could come out and feel really confident and take some risk and turn it over. I mean, that would not surprise me even a little bit, because frankly, he doesn't have a lot of experience completing bombs down the field with regularity. I mean, he's had a few, but it's not like this guy is just a prolific passer that we can reliably say is going to have a clean sheet tomorrow. And that's what concerns me, because we know the Iowa State defense is going to be stout. We know what to expect out of that. Like, I don't care who's playing for him. That scheme is really good. It's tough to beat. They disguise well and they're prepared. And so the question is going to come down to, can Iowa State's defense box Avery in and force him into running it more? Or is it a thing where K-State comes out comfortable and they're just running it a lot, Avery's running it a lot, and they don't kind of get out of that bubble, if you will, that comfort bubble that they find themselves in a lot?
Well, I mean, obviously K-State's got to figure out how to get over on Iowa State. What is it, 4-2? Iowa State is 2 straight, 3 of 4 here. I mean, they got to figure out how to get over. on Iowa State. And I think, if you want some early indicators to watch, and for the record, how nice is it to have a marquee matchup right out of the gate?
Seriously.
Like, if you're a Big 12 fan, this is a massive game. I think I'm really surprised in doing some yesterday afternoon. I did a radio appearance in Kansas City, and just the excitement over K-State, Iowa State. I'm really surprised how much On3 is putting into this game. I'm really surprised how much Sports Illustrated, PFF, like, they've all got full packages rolled out on Iowa State, K-State. Now, it's in Dublin. It's an international contest. It is the exclusive game in that window. Like, I understand the hype around it, I guess, but it's still Iowa State and K-State. Little old Manhattan, little old Ames, Iowa. It's not Iowa City. It's not Lawrence, and it's certainly not Kansas City, Kansas. It's just little old Manhattan, Kansas, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, I think it's really nice to see a Big 12 game be spotlighted on a really big stage in a really big moment, because I think it's make or break here. I mean, it is just, and listen, I understand that Avery Johnson, by all standards, if you just read the box scores last year, the kid threw 25 and 10 last year. I mean, that's a prolific year for a K-State quarterback. I think the 25 touchdowns is a K-State record. I think that's great. But what happens is, how good is the offensive line that was one of the top 10 lines in college football last year? Gave up almost no sacks. Now with Avery Johnson, he's an awfully difficult guy to sack. But yeah, I think you're replacing 3 guys up front for K-State. Like, there's a lot of questions. And I think Avery Johnson is one of those biggest questions. I don't have any questions about Rocco Becht. I expect Rocco Becht to be a significantly better quarterback this year than he was last year. Because, again, and I'll just keep saying, I understand that everybody's talking about Avery Johnson in this matchup. I even understand why everybody's talking about Avery Johnson in this matchup. But once you get into this, and one of the interesting things I've found in this game, in doing the preview work on it, is I think Rocco Becht did not have a great year last year. And I understand that everybody's going to say, well, Monty, you look at the numbers, Monty, and he was 35-05 and 25 touchdowns and 9 interceptions. And Iowa State didn't meet their goals last year. Iowa State, obviously, I mean, you lose that game in ugly fashion, Arizona State, and you just don't feel like you had a good year. And I would agree, you can't lose to Kansas and Texas Tech and then lose the conference championship game. And I understand it's a 3-loss season. Who doesn't love a 3-loss season? Well, Iowa State hated their 3-loss season last year. I can tell you that straight across the board.
Yeah, because what did it get you?
Nothing. It got you a bowl win in a really entertaining game. It got you a bowl win over Miami. What was that? The ReliaQuest Bowl? No, Pop-Tarts Bowl. The Pop-Tarts Bowl.
Yeah, Pop-Tarts Bowl.
Really, really entertaining game. I think there is so much more that Rocco Becht can accomplish on the field. Performance-wise, statistically speaking, he didn't, outside of the Kansas game, which is very interesting because they lost that game. He didn't have a monster game. He was just really consistent down the board. The Kansas game, he threw for 383, 3 scores. I mean, just really big game, and they lose because their defense couldn't hold them. And you look at the way that Rocco performs, it's very steady across the board. He's capable of 300 yards, 2 touchdowns, and a pick every single week. And if he turns that into 300 yards, 3 scores, no picks, he becomes a Heisman Trophy candidate. And trust me, I know that's crazy. Ames, Iowa State. I am telling you, Rocco Becht is capable of being a Heisman Trophy candidate. But some of the film in his best games, there were some questionable decisions there. Okay, totally get it, Monty. The guy's just a junior this year. He was a sophomore last year. Totally understand it. But this cat's capable of 4,000 yards and 30 touchdowns. And one of my biggest questions is, what does their offense look like, and what is Rocco Becht going to be as a quarterback, because there's a chance that he'll be one of the better NFL prospects if he puts up the year I think he can put up this year.
Yeah, and I trust him more to come out and have a great game. Honestly, I think, you know, demeanor wise, I think he's a little more level than Avery is. I think Avery, you know, and I only say this off of what I saw last year out of Avery, but you know, Avery tends to come out with a little jittery, and you know, he's one of those guys that kind of needs to settle into the game a little bit. And Rocco is not really that guy. Rocco just kind of comes out and does what he always does, and it's not like incredibly flashy or like Sports Center top 10 material a lot of times, but it's reliable. And I think that the question in this game to me is, it's just really simple. Like, is K-State going to turn the football over or not? If they turn the football over, Iowa State's going to win this game probably by 10 points if you turn it over and you give them extra possessions. But if you take care of the football, I actually really like the line in this game. The -3 towards K-State for me is a really reasonable line. I think that this is definitely this game to me has underwritten all over it, only because it's overseas, only because it's week 0. You haven't played in how long? I would expect some drops. I would expect some, just some working out the kinks, if you will. And that's why I say anybody saying this game is not like must watch, I just
crazy.
disagree. I think this game is must watch. I think this is two teams in the Big 12 that are college football playoff material if they have a great season. This is two teams in the Big 12 that are certainly going to compete for the Big 12 championship. And obviously it goes without saying that these two guys specifically have a ton of expectations. So, you know, if you come out here and you lay an egg and you have a 200-yard game and 2 picks, like, that's not going to be great on national television for your team. So I do think there's pressure individually as well.
Yeah, Chase Sowell is going to have to be really good for Iowa State. Obviously, when you put, Higgins and Noel in the NFL, Rocco is going to have to carry the offense. I mean, there's no doubt. But Chase Sowell from East Carolina is going to have to be just an incredible presence on offense. They're really going to need him. And I look at some of the Rocco Becht stuff. I think it is really important that he become a ball security fanatic, because that's his true weakness. And you look at the, I think PFF had him at 20 turnover worthy plays last season, which was by far most in the Big 12. I think that's 6th most in all of FBS. Rocco's got to be better than that, because my biggest question, the only thing I'm looking at in this game, put the quarterbacks aside. One thing's going to determine this game. Can Iowa State force Avery Johnson to throw the football to win the game? Because if they can do that, and again, I think K-State's got big questions up front. Do they have the blockers that know the system well enough? Because Matt Wells runs kind of an interesting blocking schematic. Do they have the blockers and the experience to run the football effectively enough right out of the gate? First game in Dublin, how many guys are going to be like, holy cow, we're in Ireland? Like, yeah, right? First game, you're always going to have some of that. Does K-State have the quality, the know-how, the experience, and the understanding of the scheme up front to help K-State run the football effectively enough and consistently enough to keep Avery Johnson out of a position where he's got to throw them to a victory? If that happens, if K-State wins the battle at the line, K-State's going to win this game. But I look at Rocco Becht, and I think 15 of his turnover-worthy throws were underneath, and that scares the hell out of me. They were 20 yards or less, and the target was within 20 yards of the line of scrimmage. So it's not like his turnover-worthy throws were, and what that means is a throw that was contested and the defender had the same percentage of catch that the offender did. That's what a turnover-worthy throw is. And you look at Rocco, those underneath routes are critically important in college football, especially with how much we all utilize the tight end nowadays. He's got to be better there. But I think it is going to be very interesting to see how a guy like Benjamin Brahmer, the fine sophomore tight end, how does he do? I think that's going to be very interesting. But no question, Iowa State secondary, Jontez Williams in that group, I think they could very likely have the opportunity to pick off Avery Johnson. But here's the truth. I don't think that's going to happen. I think that K-State's running game is simply too much. And when we look at the numbers on this game and you see that it's +3, -110, and you see that the number's 49.5, I don't see any way this goes over. I would love it to. It's not going to. And that tells me that K-State's going to win this game, controlling the clock and running the football. I see it somewhere along the lines of a 24-20, 24-21 kind of football game.
Man, I think, 24-20 is interesting. A lot of people like that one extra touchdown for K-State, 27-24. But as I said before, I agree with you. I think it's going to be an under kind of game. But yeah, I don't feel great about the K-State selection. I think there's going to be interceptions in this game. I think that he's not going to get off to a great start. I think it'll be a slow start for Avery, and then he'll probably have a great second half. So for me, I think it's a just like last year, late second field goal kind of situation. Avery probably has a big play in the fourth quarter to put him in position, and they wind up winning probably by less than 3 points. I would say 21-20, really tight game with turnovers. And on Monday, we're talking about, hey, well, same guy, just made some plays at the end to will his team across the line.
Just remember I said this about Rocco Becht, because I expect both these quarterbacks to be significantly better. There's no doubt. And I think we learned this at BYU last year. You can have a young quarterback take a big leap in year 2 in the offense. I expect Avery Johnson to take that kind of leap. Rocco Becht is not year 2 in the offense. Rocco Becht is year 3 in the offense. Rocco Becht is a guy I expect to really step forward. I expect him to cut down those dangerous throws, cut down the interceptions. I expect him to be much more deliberate with his mentality. I just don't believe up front that Iowa State can contend with the way that K-State's going to run the ball. I think that's the only difference. I do. As far as throwing the ball and who I believe in more, well, yeah, I believe in Rocco Becht more. As far as who I think is a better quarterback, if I were starting a team today, it'd be Rocco Becht. But a month from now, we might be very well having a different conversation about Avery Johnson. And God damn it, I hope we are.
That's what I was going to say, man. I hope he does.
Because I think if Avery comes out and throws the football with competence and efficiency, K-State has a chance to go deep into the college football playoff. Because when you can control the clock, and this is all those West Virginia teams, right? Where that mentality where, hey, I'm going to run the ball so effectively, you're just not going to get opportunities. And K-State has that ability with those two. Dylan Edwards, I'm telling you, folks, Dylan Edwards is a running back who can start on any football team in this country. And Colorado and K-State, largely he flies under the radar. Just not a lot of people know about him.
Yeah.
But as sure as I am sitting here, I am telling you now, Dylan Edwards is a top flight running back in college football. And if he is allowed to run for 4, 5, 6 yards a carry, you're never beating K-State.
Yeah.
And that's my biggest concern. If you're a Cyclone fan, you better be willing to stick your face into the A gap. And I'm telling you, it is something that I don't know that Iowa State has the hogs up front to win this game. And I mean, obviously we're going to find out.
Yeah, we'll find out.
I think I don't believe that Iowa State as a football team is as good as the football team it was last year. Sadly, Rocco Becht is going to be a significantly better quarterback without the team around him. And if this year's Rocco Becht was playing last year, they win the Big 12 championship. But that's just not the way Father Time works, right?
Yep.
Rocco wasn't ready. Rocco's ready. Rocco's ready. And Iowa State, they just don't have the same team. In my opinion, they're not the quality team that they were last year, this year. And I could see them based on their schedule, frankly. If you look at Iowa State's schedule, I mean, they have a lot of danger games. It starts tomorrow in Dublin. I think you get to Arizona State. That's a danger game. TCU, because I think TCU's going to, they damn well better be a better team. I think Kansas is going to be better. There's 4 losses right there. And obviously the Iowa game, September 6th, that's a great rivalry. But you should beat South Dakota, Arkansas State, Arizona, Cincinnati, Colorado, BYU, and Oak State. That's 7 wins. Are you going to handle your business against K-State? And I know that everybody says, well, it's the first game of the year. This game for Iowa State specifically, I think this game has conference championship implications. And I know that you're going to tell me I'm crazy and it's only week 1. This game right here, because it is K-State, who is, in a lot of people's, I think you started the show saying this, a lot of people believe K-State's the best team in the Big 12.
Yep.
You got to win this game if you're Iowa State, because you look at K-State's schedule, dude, there are a lot of easy outs early in the season. I think K-State gets all the way, in my opinion, I think they get all the way to Texas Tech, which is, I think, November 1st. They get all the way to Texas Tech undefeated, in my opinion. Iowa State, North Dakota, Army, at Arizona, UCF, at Baylor, TCU, at Kansas, home for Texas Tech.
Baylor's one for sure.
Well, I just, yeah.
They should beat Baylor, but that's a losable game.
We'll see. They should beat Baylor. And of course, going to Waco is not easy, but I just don't think the wolf of Waco has any teeth. I really don't.
The wolf of Wall Street.
I just think that you look at this schedule, and obviously we're going to know who K-State is because November is an absolute nut stomper, right? I mean, Texas Tech, you get a free pass at Oak State, but then you're at Utah and you finish home for Colorado. Like, those are 3 games. And if you throw in TCU, those are 4 of your last 5 are very difficult contests.
Yep.
Speaking of which, David Person's first one up today for $5. TCU is going 15-0, win the national championship, beat everybody by 40 points. I think that's a realistic point of view.
Cocaine's a hell of a drug.
While I woke up, what a great dream. No, it cannot happen. I think TCU is going to be a much better football team. My biggest question about this conference is which quarterbacks take a big jump forward. And Hoover's with that guy who could be a 5,000-yard passer.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
But that team's got to get significantly better. If you have a team around him, Josh Hoover can be a superstar. There's no question about that. I mean,
yeah, their defense is the biggest thing holding them back, and it's really a shame because Hoover's one of those guys that can get you out of bad situations. He can throw you to a win, no problem. I at some point, Sonny's got to get that defense dialed up, and the crazy part is, like, they're sitting here asking Josh to throw for 4,000 yards a season, and their defense is that bad. I mean, the guy is performing his ass off, and your defense is still that bad to where you're not competing to win the conference. And so that's why I say, like, we talked all offseason about coaches on the hot seat. I don't know that Sonny's on the hot seat yet, but I do think it's warming up. If you can't have a defense on the field that is good enough to help you win ball games when your quarterback is that good, that's saying something. Well, I don't need you to have a full All-American defense, but what I do need is give me a 24-point defense, a 27-point defense, and if you can do that, you're going to win a lot of games just because of that, because you have quarterback talent.
Well, and I think the biggest issue is I know who the Big Ten is. I know who the SEC is. I think I have a pretty good handle on the ACC. I got no goddamn idea who's going to win the Big 12. I think it's Utah, but their schedule is incredibly difficult. I think the real contenders in this league are K-State, predicated on Avery Johnson having a significantly better year. I think Utah, because their line play is just dominant. Their secondary is going to be really good. I think the questions will be wide receiver skill position at Utah. And if we're being brutally honest, I don't know that Texas Tech has the chemistry to. I don't know that Texas Tech has the chemistry to win this league, and that's my single biggest concern. They should. They should. I think it would be massively important for if Texas Tech wins the Big 12 championship, it would be transformative.
Yeah, unfortunately, there's nothing that says that they will outside of the talent they got, and I think we've seen it time and time again that money spent on the football field anyway. In other sports, it's different, but on the football field, money spent helps, no doubt. I mean, being prolific in the portal and in NIL absolutely helps your chances. There's no question about that. But the talent cannot outplay bad calling at the end of a game. The talent, can't.
But Jake, I also think Baron Morton has to be again, and I love Baron. If you watch this show, I'm a huge Baron Morton guy. He's got to be a lot better. He's got to be a lot better. I was looking at some of his numbers last night because I'm a loser and I don't have a life. PFF had him at 80, rated him 80, which is fantastic. He had 6 starts last year rated 80 or better. But he had 5 starts that was sub 60. Baron Morton had 5 starts last year, sub 60. Do you know how bad that is? Do you understand?
What a loser.
Right, but do you understand the swing of 6 starts where PFF rated him 80 and 5 starts where they rated him sub 60?
Oh, dear. Oh, my.
That is fucking horrendous. That is terrible quarterback, but you can't win at a really high level like that. It is just, it's unthinkable to me. And again, the kid is just unbelievable throwing the football.
Mm-hmm.
How much better can there be? I always talk about making money. It's not how much money you're making. It's what you're leaving on the table. It's not the numbers that your quarterback is putting up. How much is he leaving on the table?
Yeah.
And at Tech, Baron Morton's leaving a crap ton on the table. And so I look at that, and I love that Terrence Carter is his tight end from Louisiana. That's only going to make him better. I love that defense. You got David Bailey from Stanford, who's on 90.9. Their defense is going to be better. Baron Morton has got to be better. And I know that's probably not smart, and I even feel stupid saying that because of the prolific numbers he puts up. But I don't want to hear about shoulder injuries anymore.
Yeah, I don't think that Texas Tech should be right out the gate in the Big 12 championship likelihood scenario. I think that Texas Tech, to me, is an 8-9 win team and going to be just short of the championship game. And maybe they prove me wrong, and I hope they do. And I hope they come out, light the world on fire, and I have to completely reverse my take on this. But I don't believe that in one off season you bring in the talent they brought in and all those guys are just on the same page and everything's perfect and everything's going to work out. I think that the teams that are in a really good spot right now are Arizona State, K-State, Iowa State, and if the defense for Sonny can improve, I think TCU is a dark horse.
Boy, I don't know that. Man, Arizona State's another one. I'm not a believer. I am not a believer. I think that I look at Arizona State and everybody, honest to God, forearm strengthens themselves to Leavitt, and I totally get that. And I understand that Jordan Tyson. What is Jordan Tyson? I think he's probably a top 5, if not more, receiver in college football as a returner. The guy is, I mean, he's probably one of the best returning wide receivers in all of college football. But at some point, you are going to have to figure out how to rush the quarterback, especially in the Big 12. They are one of the weakest pass rush defenses in college football. And I think in this league, You just can't do that. And I look at Sam Levitt. I get it. I think last year he rated an 89, but why did he rate an 89? Does he make all the throws? No. Is he spectacular? Certainly not, because he had one of the most impactful running backs in college football. Well, that's all over with now. Now, the offense isn't predicated on the run. It's predicated on Sam Levitt being a good quarterback. He's never been in that position at ASU. So I'm not the guy that's just going to be like, oh, yeah, they're fine. They're going to win the conference again. I'm not. If you can't rush the football, if you can't rush the passer on defense, certainly that's a problem, right? But you look at his inconsistent follow-throughs. You look at the fact that both inside and outside of the pocket, he is erratic because he does not have good mechanics. That's terrifying to me when I don't get to turn around and hand it to the I don't even know how you describe Cam Scadaboo last year. What, a bowling ball, a wrecking ball,
Yeah,
a
Mr.
bulldozer,
Thickneck.
right? Yeah, like you know, Captain Thickneck, right? Like, hey, that's great. The flying neck is fantastic. I love it. He's in the NFL now. So when we talk about the depth in this league, I am not in any way saying that Arizona State's not a contender. I think they are. But if we're talking about legitimate opportunities to win the conference, I think it's only K-State and Utah. And I know that's not popular and it'll piss people off and you're fat and you're dumb. Totally. You're not wrong. You're not wrong. But you can't say I'm wrong either, because we're kicking this thing off tomorrow. And my opinion is I don't believe that this thing right here, this question right there, is the Big 12 conference deep, or is it full of average-ass teams? I think it's full of average-ass teams. That's what I think.
Yeah.
I don't think I just don't.
Guess we'll see.
Chewy Gonzalez. The Dodgers are pissing me off, dude. Like, at what point when did the Dodgers become so wildly inconsistent? I don't know either. Unpopular take: the Big 12 should get rid of non-conference games and have all 12 games be conference. Will be compelling.
Cocaine's a hell of a drug.
To have more Big 12 teams in the CFP. That would damage you significantly. You need the 2-3 gimme non-conference games. It's a vital part of the formula of making the college football playoff. I think it's vital. Oak State James, Cam Scadaboo is a wrecking ball and he will be missed at ASU. Wow, out on a limb today, are we?
Yeah, wow.
You know.
Hey, by the way, you're getting cut open today, is that right?
When's your
I see
surgery?
that right?
What's the story?
Deal? What's the deal?
You finally getting those scabs taken? Never mind.
Is the rectory getting a visit?
Hugh Janus.
I don't even know. Wasikowski, Arizona was a flop for the Big 12. No, it wasn't. What are you talking about? How was Arizona a flop for the Big 12? Is Arizona here to win football games? No. Anything Arizona does on the football field is gravy. It's a gift. That's a basketball school. And I don't think they're a flop in basketball.
Tried and true.
You know. Bryce Martin, as a Texas Tech fan, I agree that until some teams begin separating themselves from the pack and regularly become threats on the national scene, then it's all average teams. And I think Arizona State's a really good example of this. I just look at, we tend to forget that just because you're a team's best player doesn't mean you're one of the best players in the country.
I knew today would be shitty.
Right. And I say this about your boy Baron Morton. I think I had no idea he was that low rated. Sub 60 in 5 games should absolutely be terrifying. And I think the offensive line is better. I think they'll be far more balanced. He should have much more shelter from some of those hits he was taking. But he's also got to deliver the football. And I'll say the exact same thing about Sam Levitt. I think when you look at guys like Xavier Alford and you look at the work that he's done on that defense, Sam Levitt's got to get much better. He's got to get much better. And I think Adrian Wilson, I think that secondary is going to be nasty. Adrian Wilson, Xavier Alford, just crazy. I mean, he's a former USC and Texas guy. Obviously, injuries have crushed him. I think he's going to have one of the nobody talks about me seasons. Nobody is talking about him coming into this season. And I think their defense has to really get after that ass. But I think if you can get some more performances, and again, if we call ASU a contender to win the conference, they better be able to rack multiple sacks every game, because that's what it's going to take. If you look at the better defenses in this league, Utah, who I think is the best defense in the Big 12, I think is going to rack. I think they'll average 3.5 sacks a game.
Mm-hmm.
I think they have that much ability to get after the quarterback. If I said to you, hey, who do you think what defenses will average more than 2 sacks a game in the Big 12? You probably don't have any idea, because I don't know that any of us do.
Utah and Iowa State.
I don't know if Iowa State's going to be able to do that. I think that'll be very interesting. I mean, Lee Hunter at Texas Tech should make Texas Tech a 3-sack defense, right? But are you able to build confidence? Are you able to build cohesiveness with that many new bodies and brains in there, right? You talk about Iowa State, like Dominique Orange should absolutely feast, right? I think he's all conference on the end. I truly do. I think David Bailey. I mean, you can go up and down the list at Texas Tech. I think Hunter and Bailey are going to be an absolute disaster for offenses all season long, as long as they stay healthy, right? But you look at Teo Johnson and that Utah secondary, good luck, dude, because the problem that you have with Utah is they don't have a whole bunch of all-conference guys that are all-Americans, and all they do every year is crush people's dreams, beat the hell out of the quarterback, and put dudes in the NFL. That's all Utah does. And I know you hate them, and I know you think they don't want to be here, and they hate you. And I
this
get
is
it.
a Utah show. I mean,
I get it. Yeah, I totally get it. But again, I think if we're truth telling, and we start talking about who really can win this league, there is no question in my mind that Togi and Fano are the 2 best tackles in the Big 12. And they both wear the drum and feather on their helmet.
Mm-hmm.
Utah's the favorite until they lose a game. And I understand this game in Dublin tomorrow with Iowa State and K-State, huge game. Not saying it's not. I don't want to play Utah. If Utah's on your schedule, dude, that's going to be a tough game for you. You're going to be terrified.
Yeah, and I think that the other thing too is, like, obviously it needs to be said, with Texas Tech, Quentin Joyner being done for the year is a massive loss for your running game.
Huge.
So I mean, I think that you're in this situation where now you're already leaning on your depth and you haven't even played a game yet, and I think that's obviously that's a big deal.
Yeah, and I think that's why I just look at these matchups tomorrow, and I mean, you got a lot of talent in this game. I mean, again, Dominique Orange, Avery Johnson, Austin Romaine, John Tez Williams, who I talked about a minute ago, Rocco Becht, like those guys are all some of the best players in college football.
Mm-hmm.
And they're on the field tomorrow. And I am thrilled for. And that I am ready for. And I just hope it delivers, because I don't want heartbreak for this league again. I think this is if you do not get multiple teams into the college football playoff this year, you're just digging yourself a hole.
Yep.
And I am terrified of that. And it's why I think it's why I am so disappointed in a team like Oak State. Like, this league so desperately needs a flagship program. And I don't know that Iowa State and K-State probably never get the fanfare required to be that flagship program, right? Like, you can get away with that in basketball. I don't, and with all due respect, Football in this league, it lives in the state of Texas, which is
With all due respect.
which is where Stillwater, Oklahoma is, right? I mean, Oklahoma State is one of those transcendent brands, or has the ability to be a transcendent brand.
I'm a man.
Where they're not in the state of Texas and they can be the flagship program. But Mike Gundy is just such a dog-ass coach right now.
Because it's garbage.
And the money that they talk about, right? Like, you make me crazy. You have 0 quarterbacks on this roster. And I understand that people are pissed that I say that they're a walkover. They're a walkover. They're a walkover, man. Like, you're probably, if I look at your transfer portal, Freddie Brock from Georgia State. I said Freddie Brock from Georgia State is probably the best player you got out of the portal. Ronnie Haas Henge. No, I'm not kidding. It's, this is the first year we spent money on the portal.
That's it, Skippy.
Freddie Brock is probably your biggest pickup. It's him or Duhan from UTEP.
I'm for real.
Because other than that, like, you look at their biggest weakness. Is there anybody here who believes Oklahoma's biggest weakness is anything other than the fact we have no idea who their quarterback is? Because Zane Flores, Haas Henge, that's a hell of a quarterback battle.
I'm a fucking unit.
Yeah, sucks and sucks more. Like, that's what we're doing in Stillwater at quarterback.
Because it's garbage.
Yeah, who are you, Notre Dame? Like, it makes me crazy that this league, the bar is so low in this league. And so, again, because we're at Monty, your knee pad in Utah, stretch that
how
winning.
much are they paying you, Monty?
Stretch that throat to get Whittingham's calves down the gully, buddy. Hey, happy
Suck
to do
it a
it.
ding dong.
Because I'll remind you, that Utah team that you hate so much didn't have a quarterback last year. And how many games were they in if they had Devin Dampier? They probably win more of those games than they lose.
Yeah.
That's the reality of it. All right. Chewy Gonzalez for $5. Utah lost 6 games by 13 points or less without an offense last year. This year, the U-Boys coming out strong. There's no more excuses. Kyle Whittingham either retires on a massive downswing or they win the conference, go to the college football playoff, and he rides on his Harley out into the sunset. There's no in between. There's no in between. And I know you hate it, but Connor Stallions, LMAO, Haas Henge. Like, how are you Notre Dame, Oak State, and you don't have a quarterback? How are we picking between Zane Flores and Haas Henge?
Just a stalwartness.
Let's see. Do I want herpes or chlamydia? Give me Haas Henge.
I don't
Like-
regret those decisions.
You probably do. Wasikowski, Aiden Childs is a bigger name than the entire Big 12.
Shut the fuck up, Donnie.
Why are you such a Big 12 hater? I'll never understand it. And why are you pumping a Michigan State quarterback? You supposedly have the greatest quarterback recruit that anybody's ever seen on the face
You don't
of the
get to be
planet.
a Michigan State fan and a Michigan fan, dude.
Like, you make me crazy with Aiden Childs. Listen, he's a good quarterback. He's a good quarterback. He wouldn't be top 5 in the Big 12. And I watch a ton of him, and I'm actually a fan of his. And I got bad news for you. Aiden Childs wouldn't be a top 5 quarterback. He's not Josh Hoover. He's not Baron Morton. He's not Devin Dampier. Like, he's not. Rocco Becht is a significantly better quarterback than Aiden Childs is.
I'm still a human.
Right? Like, and that doesn't, like, I get it. I don't really understand why you support them so much, but, you know. And donuts, Big 12 teams beat each other up. They don't.
No, they don't actually. They underachieve, and that's a narrative that everyone wants to hide behind.
We don't. There's this big, and here's why I disagree with you. Here's why I disagree with you. Do you understand that parity is a bad thing? No league thrives when there's parity. Go look at the Big Ten. We've won 7 straight national championships. Why'd Ohio State win the Big Ten? Why'd Ohio State win a national championship without winning the Big Ten last year? because they were head and shoulders the best team in the Big Ten last year. Right? Because that league has got a ton of parity in it, and Ohio State was just more talented than everybody else. Clock struck midnight, and Caleb Downs was their safety.
So I win. Google me.
Will Howard was their quarterback, right? Like, you look around college football, look at the SEC, look at the Big 12, look at the ACC, look at the Big 10. What separates all these leagues? There was no dominant force in the ACC last year. So what happened? You weren't even in the conversation. There was no dominant force in the Big 12 last year. So what happened? You got screwed by a really bad penalty against Texas. Okay, Arizona State played well. Was Arizona State the best team in the Big 12 last year? I don't think we can definitively say that. The Big 12 has a ton of parity. Does the SEC have a ton of parity? No. Well, the same 6 teams have won the champ. Exactly my point. They're the top half. The top half of the SEC has been remarkably consistent in recruiting, winning games, good coaches that have been in place a long time. Look how long Nick Saban was at Alabama. Look at Kirby Smart at Georgia. Look at, like, the best teams in that league. Look at
Hello, Instaface.
Now look at the new boys. Look at Texas. What does Texas have? The best coaching staff, the best quarterback, the best defense. Like, it's not rocket science. You don't want 10 teams in a league competing with each other. You ideally would have 2, maybe 3 dominant teams, and then 3 more that can compete every snap with those 3 dominant teams. And then you want everybody else to be middle of the table or shit. Go win 6, 7 games. Hey, Baylor, do your job. Do your job, Wolf. Win 6, 7 games. Then get fired and disappear. Right? That's what you need in a league. That's why the Big Ten, the Big Ten's the best league in the world. Your mom sucks. Okay, well, guess what? They're not. Why do they win national championships? Because that league sucks pretty much from top to bottom, except on a regular basis, those scumbags in Ann Arbor and Ohio State, who's in it every single year, it feels like.
Ohio State.
And then Indiana's like, oh, all I do is win. Google me. Well, what happened in South Bend? I Googled it, and you got your ass beat. That's what happened in South Bend, coach.
Google me.
Oh, cock on thigh in Epstein U at Happy Ending Valley. What happened to you? Oh, we beat Boise State. We beat, well, what happened against Notre Dame? Oh, that's right. Our all-world quarterback threw an interception when he had to win the game. Oh,
I don't really understand what you're
Right.
saying.
You and your damn parody.
That's bullshit.
That's just the thing with me. Bryce Martin, parity is good when you have the big brands to measure up, but without teams that are consistently great, that elevate those few teams that might break through. And I'm going to continue to say it. Somebody in this league needs to become the absolute hammer. Now, is Joey that guy? Because he's got the talent. No, not yet. He hasn't shown to be that guy.
Hell no.
And again, I will just say, if Lubbock became the absolute mooring of college football in the Big 12, that'd be
Tortilla
so
land.
good. It'd be, do you know how many tortillas we would have a national shortage of tortillas, because Texas Tech fans are amazing.
Stay hard.
Lubbock, for a big football game, when you're pissing off Deion Sanders, dude, those are big football, but we don't get that. We don't get that in Stillwater. We don't get that in, like, do you Sonny Dykes? Sonny, win again.
Money.
It's Fort Worth, man. Not Worth. It's Fort Worth, Sonny.
Brother.
Anyway, Paterno U ain't doing squat this year. That team's going to be really good. And again, I liken them to K-State, their defense. But here's the difference. Top 8 defense in the country at Pet OU. And they're going to be able to run the football and use tight ends. Clock management, dude. You're not going to be on the field, and it's going to be tough to get them off the field. That spells wins. It is forever. It is forever. Joey B., how does Monster Energy and Zepbound feel on the stomach? I don't have any stomach issues. At the pre-show meeting oh, dude, you want to talk? You guys know what I mean when I say pre-show meeting? Phenomenal. And I will say, this shirt, I have like 5 or this is a long sleeve. It's just a long sleeve, like tech mesh sports shirt. And I have like 5 of these and they're dresses on me now. Like it is wild to Zepbound. Tuesday, I'm going from 2.5 to 5.0 on Zepbound. And I'm going good. Yeah, because shit's going good. I'm ready. I am ready. Damon Bolden. Damon, what's up? Caden Salter is going to open your eyes. I hope so.
Yeah, he damn well better, bro.
They need him, right? I mean, I think Prime is such I know I'm the only one on this show. I get it. Jake hates Deion Sanders.
Do you believe?
I think we are the only show on the internet that believes Deion Sanders is an elite coach. And he's an elite coach. He's got an elite staff. He's got 2 quarterbacks that I think are very capable. Again, is the offensive line better? I don't know the answer to that question, man. But I continue to say that I was reading a stat on Colorado's defense last year. Their defense took such a big step last year. Where is that? I'm going to have trouble finding it now because I need it. But their pass defense, do you understand how hard it was to throw the ball on them? And they were 23rd in EPA yards allowed last year. They've got 3 defensive backs coming back. And you look at Arden Walker. Do you guys understand that Arden Walker had a 19.7 pass rush win rate last year?
It's a defense.
Do you know where that ranks him? How about number 1 in the Big 12? Remember when I said you got to get after the quarterback's ass? Colorado's going to be able to get after the quarterback's ass. But again, I think, is Caden Salter the guy that can replace Shedeur? Nobody, and I hope we don't do this. Oh, well, he's no Shedeur Sanders. You don't need him to be.
Well, and you can't do that because you all said Shedeur sucked. So, you know.
What do you guys, real quick, because I don't want to derail the show. Did you guys see this Eric Dickerson thing? Listen to Eric Dickerson talk about Shedeur Sanders. Jake, before I play it, were you shocked by this video?
Yeah, I mean, I'm a little surprised that he's out here talking about this and reporting it as essentially fact that his sourcing is so, like, you'll hear it in the bite, but he says something like, you know, these are NFL level sources, like my sources are the best or whatever. And they're saying that the NFL told these guys not to draft Shedeur because they wanted to send a message. Am I surprised that he's out here saying it? Yeah, I'm a little surprised he's out here saying it the way he's saying it. If he was speculating, I could understand it. But to be reporting it as like, hey, this did actually happen, I was a little surprised he took that leap.
And I'll tell you this much here, what I heard from someone that's in the NFL, that the NFL told other, don't draft him. Do not draft him. We're gonna make an example out of him. And this came from a very good source. And he said that, I won't say who, somebody called the Cleveland Browns and said, don't do that. Draft him. Yep, draft him. Don't do that. Because they weren't going to draft him either. They weren't going to draft him. They were forced into drafting him because somebody made a call to them, said, you know, and I say, when I say this is a NFL side source for sure.
So he's out here like flexing on the quality of his sourcing here, saying that this actually happened. And that's what I'm surprised about.
Do you believe him?
I don't believe that there was an initiative from the NFL or from owners to not draft Shedeur. I think that on an individual basis, there were owners who on their own, not collectively, just on their own, said, I don't want to be a part of the Shedeur experience because of Deion and because of the perceived circus at that time.
So you think it's Deion Sanders' fault?
Oh, yeah. I don't think it has anything to do with Shedeur. I think that people didn't want to deal with Deion. I think that people didn't want to, and again, it's just a perception because I don't think Deion's actually that much of a problem.
Run that back. Run that back.
So I mean,
you don't think it's Shedeur, you think it's Deion.
Yeah, I think NFL owners, what I think happened is NFL owners went ahead and they said, okay, hey, dude, we're not on an individual basis. We don't want to draft Deion or Shedeur because we don't want to deal with Deion. And we don't want to deal with the perceived, circus and drama and the media. And, I think there was a lot of anxiety around like what training camp would be like with Shedeur. Like, let's say that you would pick Shedeur as a top 5 pick in the NFL draft. What would camp have been like? I think that's why he fell. And so then I think you had this effect where we're on day 2 of the draft and Shedeur's still not drafted. Now people are like, oh, well, now, man, we're going to be the team that saves Shedeur. We can't be seen to be doing that. Like, that's what I think happened. And that's why I think once he wasn't drafted top 10, I think that snowball just built up so big that's why he hurtled into being a last day pick. And ultimately, I look at Shedeur and I sit here and I say, bro, like, he's handling all of this stuff the right way, right? Like doing great with the media, doing his job, first in, last out, being a great teammate. Like, I don't think this has anything to do with Shedeur himself. I think that old Rich Whitehair wanted nothing to do with Deion Sanders and just that. And again, from my opinion of Deion, I want to make this clear. I don't think that Deion would have been a problem. I think it's a perception issue with NFL owners towards Deion.
I am really surprised by this. I think it is to me. I think this is a deal where you have put yourself in a position where you just can't. You can't get away from this thing with Shedeur. It is. Do I think there was some big conspiracy? No, I don't. Do I agree with Eric Dickerson? No, I don't. I also don't believe that Deion Sanders played even a 20% role in the decision-making. I think you look at Prime, and I think there were a lot of teams who were concerned about whether or not Shedeur Sanders was a legitimately good NFL quarterback. I've talked to a lot of people about this. I've asked a lot of people about this. My passionate belief is that NFL sources had questions about Shedeur going to the combine. When they got to the combine and he was too busy to meet with certain teams, allegedly, when the workouts that didn't happen happened, when the conversations he did have, there was an aura that they didn't like. I think it all just fed into this thing where Shedeur did not handle the pre-draft process well, and it only fed into the people who didn't believe he was an NFL prospect. Now, since then, I think he's been nails. He is clearly the best quarterback in Cleveland. I think he is clearly a problem for the Cleveland Browns because he looks good in games. I think that you are going to see him play this weekend, which is going to create more problems for the Cleveland Browns. I don't think Deion played a role at all, Jake. I think this was 100% teams were not convinced that Shedeur was an NFL quarterback, and then the pre-draft interviews really did some people wrong.
Then if that's the case, then NFL scouts should be fired. Because if you watch the guy's tape, you'd have known his game would have translated to the NFL, no problem.
Well, his accuracy and his arm strength his accuracy, everybody knew that. People did not believe he had an NFL arm strength. I heard that repeatedly leading up to you and I had phone conversations about I don't
disagree.
He has an NFL arm. No question about it.
My thing here, though, with this whole conversation, and again, I just want to point out, when nobody knows why something happened, something definitely happened. So you can say that I'm 100%. Tinfoil 2 holes, and you can say that
tinfoil 2 holes.
Like I'm out here making stuff up. You can say all that, bro. You can say all that, dude. But
did you just make a new name for yourself?
I did. Yeah, I did. That was off the top of my head. I would like credit for that. Thank you. Anyway, so when we don't know why something happened in terms of the NFL draft with a player who's clearly capable of playing in the NFL, because I don't want to hear this nonsense that arm strength is like the determining factor of where a guy should be drafted. There have been massive questions about dude's arm strength, and you can't tell me that Like, because I think it starts getting really questionable when you say things like, we think Dylan Gabriel is going to be a better NFL quarterback than Shedeur Sanders. Okay,
Yeah, nobody
good luck
said
explaining
that out
that.
loud.
Yeah, good
Well,
luck explaining that.
And I understand. I probably am more of a buyer on Shedeur than most people are. I have trouble. Do you know how many people would have to be involved for this to be a real thing? I can hear, like, I hear Dickerson talk about it, and I should play the bite again. Because what he is saying happened with the Cleveland Browns and Shedeur is not at all unrealistic.
And I'll tell you this much here, what I heard from someone that's in the NFL, that the NFL told other, don't draft him. Do not draft him. We're gonna make an example out of him. And this came from a very good source, And he said that, I won't say who, somebody called the Cleveland Browns and said, don't do that. Draft
Really?
him. Yep, draft him. Don't.
Okay, I believe that. Dude, I have no problem thinking that somebody called the Cleveland Browns in the first round and said, do not draft Shedeur Sanders. You want to draft him after the first round? Because you don't get, I hope people understand. The draft is very formulaic. How many quarterbacks get drafted in the second and third round? Almost none. Because if you're drafting a quarterback, you're usually doing that top half of the first round. These days, anywhere in the first round. Okay, cool. If you don't draft a quarterback in the first round, are you drafting them in the second and third round? Not historically and not recently. You go back and you look at those numbers. I don't have any problem believing that somebody from New York called the Cleveland Browns and said, hey, we don't want you drafting Shedeur Sanders here. He'll be there later. Draft him later if you want him later. I don't think it. Do I believe that the NFL told all 32 teams, you are not drafting Shedeur Sanders? No, I do not believe that. I do not think that the difficulty in keeping a lid on that, because there's always a red ass in a general manager's office in this league. I think we all know that. I don't think that's what the NFL was engaged in. I have no trouble believing, because the Browns are sort of leveraged by the NFL, from what some people believe anyway, because of the Deshaun Watson disaster. Right? They did not want that trade to happen.
Well,
and it happened. And in the fully guaranteed contract on top of that, so I could see, hey, we don't want you drafting Shedeur here. Let it go.
Yeah.
Okay,
Hey,
cool.
Jimmy.
Then did they call the Saints? Did they call, I have no idea.
Did they call the Steelers?
I don't believe they did. I think the Pittsburgh Steelers had Aaron Rodgers all day, every day. And they had the Pittsburgh Steelers, what Shedeur fans don't want to understand, the Pittsburgh Steelers had nowhere to put Shedeur Sanders.
Yeah.
Because you were signing Aaron Rodgers. And I know you all told me I was an idiot for this. And Aaron Rodgers, before he went into the green dumpster, Aaron Rodgers was a Pittsburgh Steeler. Months and months and months and months and months before he signed his contract, he was a Pittsburgh Steeler. And they had no reason to draft Shedeur Sanders. Yeah. And they've got to find prospect in Will Howard now.
Yeah, I just have a lot of trouble with the concept that Shedeur fell to the 5th round. I just think that's an absolutely absurd happening in the draft for a guy his ability. That
he's a 5th round pick is redonkulous. It is, yeah. And again, because people text me during the show, it would be almost impossible to keep a lid on a conspiracy that big. It would just be, replica. I'm sure there were some coaches and GMs who didn't want Shedeur because they were worried about being replaced by Prime. No, I don't think that's at all.
I don't think it was a replacement issue. No. I just think they didn't want to deal with it. It's
noisy, man.
Yeah, it's noisy.
Yeah. Damon, yes, Shedeur overplayed his hand, yes, but his body of work should have spoken for itself. That's not how this game's played. When you have old rich billionaires trying to control young black men, you don't do that by his body of work. They don't care about his body of work.
No, they want him to play. They want him to play long.
They want you when you're a rookie quarterback, you are under their thumb. And I think, and I'm not trying to play the race card, but I hope Wasikowski, you're not driving, because I know you'll but you look at the way that two things have happened here. Shedeur was a young, exuberant, you want to call him mouthy, loud, young, black, successful, rich guy. They don't like that. Rich billionaires don't like that. And now the bigger problem is he's come in and he's been the best quarterback in camp and he's been the best quarterback in games.
Tim and Dart, dude.
And you start looking at like Dan Orlovsky, Chase Daniels, like you look at all the people that grade quarterbacks, Shedeur Sanders has graded out the best. And he's got a really good offensive coordinator who understands how to grow quarterbacks. But the question is, who wanted Shedeur there? Was it the GM? Was it the owner? Was it the coach? Because it doesn't feel like it was the owner and the coach. It feels like it was the GM. So there's no question. And I think Stefanski is as much has said with the poor performance we've seen out of Dylan Gabriel, with the bad reads we saw in game out of Dylan Gabriel, missing.
And, the interception.
Well, it's not even every quarterback's going to throw interceptions. But when Shedeur's perfect, you can't be imperfect, right? And the interception, and I thought Dan Orlovsky did a really good breakdown on this. PFF, if you guys don't subscribe to Pro Football Focus, I don't know what you're doing. PFF did this as well. Dylan Gabriel's biggest issue is not his size. He doesn't believe what his eyes are seeing. So he had, I think it was two, what's called a pipe route that would have gone for a touchdown. I mean, there was nobody in the middle of the field. And he chose not to throw it there. He threw it down to the flat. And it was a 2-yard gain, and one was a drop pass. And then the ball after that was the interception. And it's like,
Yeah.
It's just bad form. And so now you have a situation where you've got Shedeur Sanders, who's been the best quarterback in your camp. Now, Joe Flacco is going to start, and I don't think anybody has a problem with that. That's the right move, in my opinion. But the biggest question is when Joe Flacco and Evelyn goes down or the Browns lose every game, how long is it until you start considering playing Shedeur Sanders? And how are you going to get the owner, the GM, and the coach on board with that?
You're going to have 8 to 10 weeks of awful football. That's how.
I think you might be right. Wasikowski, Gabriel won the second string. Not even close.
Yeah, what are you talking about?
Dude, do you even pay attention to what's going on in the NFL? Aiden Giles is the best quarterback in the Big 12, and Gabriel. See, and Eric's the guy who hates Shedeur just because of who Shedeur is.
Mm-hmm.
Like, Eric will never say anything good about Shedeur Sanders, ever. King of Thailand, only one question about Shedeur is his health, but his talent was NFL level.
See, again, but how is his health in question? He was healthy throughout college.
Well, I mean, at the end of year one at Colorado, he took some shots and he hurt his back. And last year, there's no question he was durable. This year with this oblique strain, I think they wanted Dylan Gabriel to have the spotlight.
Yeah.
And
I don't believe
no
for a
problem
second he
with
couldn't
that.
play. I don't believe for a second he couldn't play.
I think because he's already back. Oblique strains are multiple week injuries, and he's already back. 2 holes in your tinfoil hat.
Mm-hmm.
Phenomenal, Bruce says. Could be. I would like Shedeur to get a real opportunity, but he's in Cleveland, 40 starting QBs since 99. You're not wrong about that. Johnny Gonzalez. Shedeur and Hunter were last season's Buffs offense. In my opinion, Colorado takes a massive step back. I don't think so, because you look at what they have. I don't think there's any doubt that they need Xavier Hill to come in and dominate inside on the offensive line. The transfer from Memphis, and I think he will. But you look at the way that their offense looks. I mean, if Jordan Seaton continues to be what he is, they've got plenty of speed outside. They have plenty of speed, and they really should be able to continue to run. I think DJ McKinney is going to be one of the best secondary players in all of college football. So I think Colorado will be fine. They're good. Devin Dampier will have 4,000 combined yards. I was talking to somebody, oddly enough, at BYU who said that Devin Dampier looks unbelievable. And if he's another guy who's got to throw the football more effectively. He is too heavy run first. He's got all the physical talent. Again, can he deliver the football in time and space? That's going to be the biggest question. And he's got a phenomenal quarterback coach. He knows the language and the system, so we'll see. Let's see. Phil Venzer, I've seen Dampier and I'm not sold on him. You saw him as a very young quarterback. And in college specifically, I think year 1 to year 2 in the NFL, unless you change coordinators, you're going to be the same guy. I think you look at year 1 to year 2 in college, and I'll go back to Jake Retzloff at BYU because I think it's a phenomenal example. You look at a guy who works really hard, and you look at a guy that goes and works with John Becht and Tom House, really, really gets into his playbook, goes to somebody like John Becht and Tom House who can teach him how to read and diagnose defenses. Like you hear about all that. That's why Jake Retzloff had such a phenomenal year in spite of just some dog-ass play calling. If you're Devin Dampier and you are now in a system that is predicated on your ability to gain yards, because you're not going to have elite skill position players at wide receiver and running back. They need him to be a monster. I don't know that he can throw for 4,000 yards. I think that he can run for 1,500. And if he throws for 2,500 yards, the biggest question is what's the touchdown interception ratio and how many total turnovers does he have? That's going to determine success or failure in this league. King of Thailand, I think Jarrah has the ear of the NFL league office and he yields a lot of power. We're going to talk about Jarrah coming up in about an hour with this ridiculousness on Micah Parsons. Stop talking, Jarrah. Stop shouting. NFL higher-ups didn't want anything to draft him. I don't know. The good news is he's getting an opportunity to overcome that. Phenomenal says, I believe they called the Saints and told them no Shador to miss Benson. You do believe that? Why would they do that? Saints are insignificant. And God, dog, how bad does Tyler Shook look?
I mean, just awful.
I just don't know how you fix that, man. And I think it's a huge question mark as to the Saints may have very well set themselves back a significant amount of time. I mean, it's awfully hard to, I don't even know. It's just awfully difficult to recover from a bad draft pick like that.
Yeah.
It is awfully difficult to recover from that. I don't know what you do. I really don't. Bailey Dietrich Browns named Joe Flacco their starting quarterback, as they should have.
As expected.
As they should have. Look at that. Are bots in the chat again? We need a bot song like we have sad piano song. It's what you do when you have 70,000 people watching the show. What's up to everybody on Twitter, X? It's what happens, man. Joey B, Monty, what does it take to get Fort Collins? Nothing, ever, never.
Sucking a ding dong.
Never, ever. Stop trying to kill Travis Hunter, and we'll might put you on the wall. Saints have set themselves up for picking Arch number 1. Could be.
Well,
Greg Hill, Texas Tech fans tried to warn the Saints about Shook. I
mean, just trash, dude. Like, man.
I was never on the Shook bandwagon, and we had epic arguments with the people in Lubbock about this exact thing. Like, we just.
Where are we at in society today?
I think it is very interesting to see how all this plays out.
Yeah.
And what it will look like. But we'll see. Wasikowski, Gabriel will be QB number 1 if Grandpa Flacco doesn't perform again. You have no.
You're just uneducated, dude. You are so uneducated.
Well, Eric, I'll never understand why you want to just put yourself out on these limbs that you can't back up. You just can't back that up. There's nothing you've seen. And frankly, I don't even know that we know who the number 2 quarterback is. I know it's not Kenny Pickett. But we have it's just August 20th. What do we have? 2 more weeks in the preseason? Like, there's going to be plenty of opportunity for somebody to lose that job, but there is no question if it was today and Joe Flacco broke his dick that Shador would be the starting quarterback. There's just no
Stay hard.
There's no way around that. Like, I have no idea what you're looking at. And I think you're just a Shedeur hater, which is Dillon Gabriel made so many mistakes in that first outing. I think I agree with a lot of the analysts who have said it's going to be hard for Dillon Gabriel to overcome the mistakes he made. He simply threw the ball in the wrong spot
repeatedly.
And the hard part is when you're competing against somebody that is an encyclopedia of offense, because Shedeur Sanders, did you guys notice he wasn't looking at like Dillon Gabriel asked for the play call twice. Like, Shedeur Sanders got the call, put the play in, read the defense, snapped the ball, and threw it.
Bro, Shedeur checked 2 runs. He checked out of runs. He checked to different plays.
Move protections.
Like Shedeur Sanders is miles ahead of Dillon Gabriel in terms of offensive knowledge.
I just think it's going to be really tough for Dillon Gabriel to because now he feels the pressure. And then this BS with some people are competitors, some people are entertainers. Like, he's just put himself in a tough spot. Phenomenal. It really isn't that difficult. Tyler Shook will probably be gone next year. It's tough to cut your drafted quarterback.
We're out of here
after 1 year. That's awfully difficult. One more week of preseason. Okay. I'm here for it. I put a lot into certain positions in the preseason. I don't put a lot into every snap of the preseason.
Yeah.
I just don't think it's that. I watch quarterbacks and I watch wide receivers, tight ends, blocking schemes. When you're watching NFL football in the preseason, the outcome of the game almost doesn't matter. You don't want to go winless. But like for me with the Bears, command of the offense from Caleb, we saw that. Luther Burden understanding his job, down blocking, then I think 4 snaps later, faking that blocking, going to the flat, catching a pass, like first down. The way that the offensive line is playing in tandem with the route the tight end is running. I mean, that's the way I watch football. And if you're an NFL fan and you're watching preseason football, don't worry about the outcome of the game. And I know a lot of people don't watch the second half of preseason games, bro. You want to know how good your team is going to be? Watch the second half of a preseason game. You look at the Buffalo Bills. You want to know what concerned me so much about the Buffalo Bills? And I've watched a lot of that Bears second half.
It's that they didn't have a 2X red T-shirt to buy from the team store.
Yeah, notice Big Daddy Magic really hasn't been around since we put the Buffalo Bills in the ground.
Yeah.
But the thing that really worries you about the Buffalo Bills, their secondary had no idea what they were doing. Routinely in the wrong place, zero communication from the safeties, corners to the linebackers, zero communication. Like safeties and corners double teaming Cole Kmet, which allows DJ Moore to be one-on-one on the outside. Huge mistake. Like you can't make those mistakes in the NFL and survive. And that's what worries me so much is you were playing your number ones in the secondary and they couldn't communicate. That's a little concerning if you're a Buffalo Bills fan.
100%.
Gabriel is the 7th best QB in the state of Ohio. Exactly.
Ohio State.
Thailand says Wasikowski seems to lack arguments that's fair and balanced, that only leave comment section and think he's biased. Well,
Facts.
There's just no, how shall I say? There's not a lot of understanding. And because Eric talks in popular talking points, that's the issue. And I look like the Cleveland Browns situation. Those of us that study the NFL and watch the NFL, yeah, I'm just telling you that there's no question. I mean, there better not be a question.
Yeah.
Dillon Gabriel is probably 4th on that depth chart today. It is probably Flacco, Shedeur, Kenny Pickett, and Dillon Gabriel. And I think they're going to keep 4. You cannot cut Dillon Gabriel.
Well, and it depends on Tiny Hand's availability too. I mean, he's allegedly dealing with injury.
Yeah.
So
I think I just We'll see. Monty, do you like the way they do cut downs now in the NFL all at once, or did you like the staggered cut? I think you got to do it all at once. When do we only have 3 weeks in the preseason? I mean, I think you have to do it all at once.
I agree that timeline wise in the modern era, all at once is better. But I have to say the staggered cut system, as far as Hard Knocks is concerned, made Hard Knocks a million times better, because you had several weeks of episodes where they were cutting guys and dudes worrying about if they were on the bubble, so they would bust their ass more to try to get through the next round of cuts. So, I think there's pros and cons to it.
Yeah, I definitely do. But I think you got to get it for the sake of the business. That cutting that last preseason game, going from 4 to 3, shortens your window for progression.
Yeah.
So it makes it just makes it more difficult. And I think you look at, like the Cleveland Browns, you're trying to figure out, like in Shedeur, what are you evaluating with Shedeur Sanders? Well, can he understand the offense? Yeah, he has full command of the offense. He's able to move protections. He's able to check down. One snap he checked in and then checked out and then checked back into a play. Like
he can slide the pocket and use the protection
and still be accurate. And then you ask yourself, okay, well, he's doing that with 2s and 3s. If we put him out there with, Jerry Jeudy, for instance, or if you put him out there with David Njoku, if you put him out there with Thrash and Tillman and Isaiah Bond, who I think is going to be a huge pickup for them.
Well, and I think a lot of people were talking about, like, did you put him out there with the ones on offense, but also the ones on the defense? What does that look like in terms of where he's at with his progression?
Yeah, I agree. Yeah. All right. The Monty Show is always presented by the Advocates at theadvocates.com, the best injury attorneys in the business. Let's come back and reset it. What is your, where are you guys at on this situation with K-State and Iowa State? Obviously, that is a big game. It's tomorrow, noon Eastern. But remember, that's a night game. It should probably be right. Sun will be going down in Dublin.
Prime time in Dublin.
Is that +3 on the Iowa State side? Is that legit? Is that too much? Is that too little? Let's get you ready for kickoff tomorrow after this from the Advocates.
Injured in an accident? You may be entitled to a bigger settlement, up to 3.5 times bigger. Your initial consultation is 100% free, and we don't get paid unless we win your case. No matter the accident, we are here to help. The Advocates will fight for you because you deserve clarity, you deserve justice, you deserve guidance, you deserve an advocate. Contact us today.
The Advocates at theadvocates.com. And as I always tell you, the best part about the Advocates is you don't pay a penny in lesson until they win your case. No consultation fees. So when you first reach out and you're trying to get your initial consultation set up, you don't have to worry about what that costs because it doesn't cost you anything. In fact, you can chat with an injury attorney live online 24/7, 365 at theadvocates.com. And again, just remember the streets, the alleyways, the sidewalks, everybody's zipping around on scooters now. And with these last few weeks of summer here, you're going to have a lot more young people on bicycles, scooters. You're going to have a lot more families on the streets and on the roads traveling. Please be careful, slow down. And if the worst happens, make sure you get to the Advocates at theadvocates.com. All right, where are you guys at on this K-State Iowa State game? I think it's going to be very close, but I like it 24-20. I am in favor of an under and a K-State win. Jake, where are you at on it?
Yeah, I mean, marinating on this game a little bit, I do have concerns about Avery Johnson. I mean, I think that the kid can clearly play, and I'm not saying that he sucks, but I am concerned that he's going to turn the football over. I'm concerned that it's week 0 in Dublin, and you're in an environment you haven't played in before. You haven't played in how long? And, I just think that Avery's a little bit prone to making some of those mistakes that ultimately cost you. Now, with that said, I don't know that that's going to cost them the game this week. I just think that will make the game close. And that's why I like the -3 for K-State, because I think, I think Avery's going to turn over at least once in this game. Wouldn't be surprised if we saw it twice. I also think, though, he's going to make some plays down the stretch to bring this game home for K-State. So for me,
you're a buyer. You're drinking
Yeah.
the permed, long, white-haired guy.
I mean, the luscious
Kool-Aid.
locks, the purple is just overwhelming me, and just
What kind of car he drives?
I have no idea what kind of car he drives. No idea. What kind of NIL deals he got done?
What's a white old man's favorite sports car, Jake?
Corvette.
That's what he drives.
All right, so I'm picking Iowa State to go ahead and win this game.
Jake hates people who drive Corvettes, by the way. So
I just listen. I want Avery to have a good outing. I just don't believe he will, and I only believe when I see it. And that's why I think this is a really tight game. I think this will be less than a touchdown. I could easily see this being a 1 to 3 point game. I had it 21-20 earlier in the show, and I think that's where I'm going to stick. 21-20 K-State.
Phil Venzer, at 9 a.m., I will be doing tailgating, drinking massive amounts of Jack Daniels, watching our poverty school team with the worst AD that can't run a lemonade stand. Why are you on the AD's ass now? Like, I'll never understand the anger. Understand who you are and where you are. That's too much for K-State. It should be too. But here's the question I would ask, and if you're just tuning in, we've been talking about this as we get ready for kickoff of the college football season here on the Monty Show. Who's the quarterback that breaks out in this game? Because I think there's a lot of expectations that Avery Johnson's going to have an enormous season. I think Rocco Becht is the guy with the high ceiling here. I think when you see the issues that Avery Johnson's had throwing the ball, you can incrementally improve those. I don't believe you can dramatically improve those right out of the gate. Can he throw 30 touchdowns? Sure he can. Absolutely he can. If Rocco Becht makes better decisions with the football, which you can absolutely learn over an offseason, he's going to be one of the best, if not the best quarterback in this league. And Iowa State will go undefeated. One of these two quarterbacks will have a breakout performance, and I'd more lean towards Rocco, but I could very well see Avery Johnson being that guy.
Yeah, I mean, I just think that Rocco has more reliability to him. I mean, you may not see as many flashy plays out of Rocco, but I guess it just comes down to the fact that I don't trust Avery Johnson yet. He hasn't shown me enough for me to be like, yeah, you're going overseas, and what is your week one? Your first game of the year, and I just believe that you're going to be, you're going to be, 24 of 30, and you're going to throw 3 touchdowns and no interceptions and just light it the hell up against a good defense. I just don't buy that yet. I think that Avery's a hell of a runner. I think it's a detriment to him most of the time. I think there are so many times, if you watch the game, where they're like, yeah, he ran out of this, but he had a guy down the left sideline and he just never saw him because he was looking to the right. And which is a clear breakdown in progression, which is what I think he suffers from. And yes, I'm a buyer on the fact that he worked his ass off to develop this offseason, both physically and mentally, and theoretically should be better this year. But again, proof is in the pudding, and this is a great way to come out of the gate swinging. And the problem is I just don't buy that he's that dude, and he's gonna have to.
Yeah, I don't disagree with you. I just think that when you have the issues they've had throwing the ball, they were 60th in FBS at the quarterback position. They were 5th worst amongst Power 5 receiving groups. You're bringing back Brown, and I mean, this team's going to have to run the football to win. It is what it is.
Yep.
Why would any college football game be played overseas? Well, because it's great for marketing.
What do you mean?
It's a money making. I know Hebrew. Your boys in Happy Ending Valley, they only worry about the young kids. They don't worry about growing big business. Probably too much.
Yeah, and they don't fly overseas because the airport's too far away. Yeah.
It's money making, and this is a fantastic opportunity. Why wasn't anybody bitching when Notre Dame played in Ireland? Oh, well, it's Notre Dame, Monty. So they're the only team that can go make money overseas? Absolutely not. Johnny Gonzalez, how much of an impact losing Becht's top 2 receiving targets? Huge, but college is a game where you got to step up. And I think when you look at Iowa State and you start to understand, how Iowa State is built, the biggest question is, can Rocco Becht improved his ball security? And if he improves it, I don't have any reason to believe that he can't. And I think the bigger question is, can Carson Hansen, who's a junior, run the football consistently? And if we're really talking about, if we're really talking about brass tacks, I'm very concerned about Benjamin Brahmer is a guy that's got to have more production. He's got to have more targets. And because I think he's a really, really good tight end. And he just doesn't get the ball enough in that offense. Well, now there's no reason not to give him the ball more.
Yeah.
Right. And I think it is, I think it's really important. And when you look at Tyler Moore, he's your blocker, and you've got to be able to leverage the tight end. But it'll be really interesting to see what this looks like. And the wide receivers very clearly, Eli Green, Townsend, I think Carson Brown, he's a senior. You have a good mix of upperclassmen and a couple of young guys that I think we don't know what their wide receivers are yet. And we're going to have to figure that out. We're going to have to figure that out very quickly. But I don't at all worry about Iowa State's offense. They will figure that out. In my opinion, I am more worried about K-State's offense being able to throw the ball. That's one of the worst passing offenses in college football last year. So, yes, it's a huge problem. They lost guys off the offensive line. That's a huge problem. But we'll see. Avery has AMG GT now, no longer a Corvette. Really? How dare me? Phil Venzer, when you give to a school that promises things that, dude, if you're going to get into it, get the fuck into it. Like, stop with when you give to a school and they break promises. Okay, what did you give? What was the promise and how did they break it? Like, stop with the nonsense. UNLV is doing the best job they can possibly do. They are playing with 2 legs and 2 hands tied behind their back. Man, like, just chill out. Chill out. Like, not everything is the end of the world. If you are ripping the management at UNLV, you're in the dark because they're doing a really good job. I know those guys really well. I know the battles they're facing, and I know the production they're getting. And they are making more money now than they have ever made. So just relax. Just relax. Jaden Mayava will surprise. I think he will surprise. I think he very much will surprise. I'm very curious. The Mountain West is a very interesting league. I think the Mountain West, specifically UNLV, you have a lot of change at UNLV in football. And I'm very curious. I'm very curious to see how all of that will play out. But I think it is going to be very interesting to see what UNLV turns into in that league in this last year. And, I liken UNLV very much to Kansas. Kansas has all these pieces. Can they put it together? Right? Because you have Lance Leipold, who, what is this? This is 4th or 5th season already.
Yeah.
He's not like he's not like the new hot coach anymore. But you look at Jalen Daniels. I mean, how much of a roller coaster was last year? I mean, he is a guy who I think was tied with Jackson Dart for explosive plays. Like that's his top right there, right? He's a guy that when you look at that offense and you look at the big wins they had down the stretch last year, I don't know that they have the defense to hang. It's my single biggest concern. Like, you look at some of the numbers, good God, they were terrible on defense last year, and I don't think they got better. I don't think they got better. I look at who they brought in, and I agree Bengali Kamara from South Carolina is a really nice pickup. But that's not enough. And Jalen Daniels, in my opinion, is a really important player. But if the defense isn't better, and I know we have a lot of Jayhawk fans that listen to the show, and I'm telling you right now, if Kansas's defense is no better than it was last year, and I actually think it could be worse, you're going to have a very long couple of months. This is going to be a very difficult season.
Yeah.
Carson Brown, I remember that guy from the Frosty the Snowman song, but he can't catch it in coverage. Okay. Thailand, I'm worried KU Fresno could be a problem for the folks in Lawrence. Well, and I bring that up because I just am quite concerned about where that defense goes. I mean, man, you lost Kobe Bryant's a huge loss for them. I mean, like Mello Dotson, JB Brown, those guys are gone. And those are your best players, and you didn't replace them. So where are you going to get production from on that defense? That's what is terrifying to me, because I'm a huge Jalen Daniels guy, right? I love it. But I don't care what quarterback you are. I think their offense in FBS, and if I get this wrong, don't kill me. I think they were 7th in offense and 96th in defense. 7th in offense in FBS, 7th in offense, 96th in defense. And your EPA to allow per play on defense was like over 100, ranked over 100, like 110. Your defense was shoddy at best. And the other thing that worries me, like I'm sitting here looking at the top 10 players by position, and Kansas doesn't have one single top 10 player.
Yep.
Not one. You're either talented or you're not, and I don't think you're talented enough at Kansas on defense. Oak State James says Iowa State 28, K-State 24. Okay, Johnny says upset alert, Fresno State ruins the Kansas new stadium unveiling. If that happens, Kleiman's out. I'm just telling you right now. There is going to be a very short leash.
You can't be crappy right now, bro.
I don't know how you, bro, that is a huge problem. Like, I'm just looking at some of these numbers, and it's not good. It is not good at all. And I look at some of the ways you play this game, or I said Kleiman, Leipold is going to be on the hot seat for sure. But I look at the way that, what were they, 5 and 7th last year? They don't have a difficult schedule, which is the other part of this that I think I start looking at where they're ranked. Their schedule is 62nd. And I look at their schedule, and I mean, if we're being objective, I mean, they should probably go 6-0 to start. Fresno State, Wagner, at Missouri. Well, you're probably going to lose to Missouri. Okay, so 5-1. West Virginia, Cincinnati, and UCF. Then you go to Lubbock, K-State, Oak State, Arizona, Iowa State, Utah. So I can understand you losing, let's say, Missouri, Texas Tech, K-State. That's going to be a shootout any way you place it. Iowa State on the road. I mean, you shouldn't expect them to win that game. And then home for Utah should be a dogfight. But there's a lot of winnable games there.
Yeah, no doubt.
A lot of winnable games. Oh, look at that. Big Daddy Magic. Are you celebrating the death of the Buffalo Bills?
No, I'm sure this is going to be another Victor bomb.
Hey, play September 6th. I'll be at the tailgating at the University of Utah. I know I'm going to drink everybody under the table. Why? Why do you want to do that? So I can have your credit card information to put in my Uber account, please. Yeah, it's not going to happen. Don't drink and you won't have to worry about that. How about Big Daddy Magic? You give up all alcohol for the rest of your life. No more, drunk in public tickets. I think you said you got if Kansas loses, David Booth says, tear down the stadium. Here's money to build a new one. Fire that coach. And I'm bringing in Ogeron. Dude, if they have another bad season, Leipold could be in trouble.
Yeah,
no doubt. Fresno State defense came from NIU, who beat who. Well, Listen, I think Fresno State is on the way up. I do. I just don't know that. I don't know that they're up yet. They're on the way up.
You keep wishing.
They're on the way up. And I think Tim Skipper is the exact right guy to have there. Tim Skipper will turn you into a solid program. But when you look at Corey Foreman from USC is a massive get for them. I mean, their portal has been really good. They did a really good job. But the truth of the matter is, with Mikey Keene, who's their starting quarterback, when he's not blitzed, he is rated 80, and that is tied for 14th in FBS. So if they keep him clean, they're going to beat Kansas significantly, right? And King can be a bit of a conservative passer. He'd much rather throw for 2 yards in a cloud of dust than go up top. And I think 26% of his passes travel beyond 10 yards.
Ugh.
That's not good. You're going to have to get that. Last year, you averaged 7.4 yards average depth of target. 11th lowest amongst all quarterbacks in college football. You have to pick that up a little bit. And with Malik Sherrod there, you should have no trouble running the ball. And he's a really versatile back. 260 receiving yards. One of the top receiving backs in the G5. You can play. And again, I'm telling you, you want a name to watch this year? Corey Foreman, edge rusher, USC, transferred to Fresno State. And I want to say, wasn't he the number 2 high school recruit in his class, in 2023? I mean, the guy is an absolute beast.
Yeah, and I think, Fresno State's in the spot where you've got Matt Entz there in first year as head coach. And, I feel like every time there's a first year head coach, there's always something to prove. And you're always trying to establish yourself. I mean, we saw Prime go through this where you're like, oh man, Deion's finally coaching at a major program. Is he good? Is he going to suck? We saw all that. And I think, obviously the stage isn't as big with Fresno State, but I think that dynamic is still at play for Entz and that coaching staff. You talk about coming up, that's where it starts.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. I think, and that's right, Matt Entz is the head coach at Fresno State. I got that wrong. I think when you look at, he's a guy that's going to build you a program, but it's going to take time.
Yeah.
It is going to take time. His history says that he can do that. His history says that he will do that. And I think when you start looking at what, they have a 247 for Fresno State. It's called Barkboard. His interview, go look at Matt Entz's interview on Barkboard. And it's actually really enlightening about the things that you're hearing about and the quarterback battle. And Fresno State has an opportunity to be good, but they're going to have to put that the defense is going to have to be really good. And I think it could be interesting, but I don't know. Is it a good thing for Kansas to have Fresno State right out of the gate? I don't know about that. I mean, obviously with what he did at North Dakota and what he's built there, you're going to have to do that. And it's an afternoon game. I think that kicks off. That's a 3:00 game. Opening the stadium, and I'm interested to see how it goes, right? I am really going to be interested to see what they look like. I mean, do you guys understand that Fresno State, I think it's more than 20 players who have never taken a snap for Fresno State.
Yeah, might want to win some ball games considering everything going on with the Mountain West and the Pac-12.
I think it's huge. I think it's huge. And I am really interested. I'm excited to see what Fresno State looks like. I am excited to see what their quarterback situation ends up being. I'm excited to see, like, if you just look at their two deep, like, it's really difficult to decipher what that looks like and how they play. Can you imagine if Kansas is going to get blown out? Let's not get crazy. But if I look at their looking at their official two deep, dude, I don't know. I don't know what you do. I don't know. And I know that EJ Warner won that job, but let's see what happens. I think it's going to be.
Let it all play out.
Let it all play out. I think that's a big deal. I think there's a kid there I was watching practice film on Josiah Freeman. If you're a Kansas fan, watch Josiah Freeman. And let's see what that turns into. But we'll see. I think it is going to be very interesting to see how they have a bunch of local guys on that roster. They have a bunch of transfers on that roster. Again, I think it's 23, 24 players who have never taken a snap there.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll see what happens. And now knowing who won the quarterback battle, that's going to be very interesting. So we'll see. Is what it is. All right. Man, yes, I know we have a lot of bots in the
Endless
chat
bots right now.
And there's nothing I can do about that. And I apologize. I see all of you,
The filtering is going hard.
KU has 40 new roster players as well. They do. Gloria needs the Mountain West to do what to be successful. Gloria needs the Mountain West to do what to be successful this season.
Win games.
Have a competitive season at the top of the conference.
Yeah.
And I think UNLV, it would be lovely if UNLV could be part of that. That would be absolutely, you need that desperately. I mean, absolutely, with desperation, you need that. But I don't know what that looks like. I mean, there's probably going to be a bunch of, you're going to have lawsuits that are going to continue. Like, I think this is going to be a very difficult season for them. I don't know. I don't know how you fix that, man. Like, because when you look at the numbers, I mean, I don't know how you get away from the lack of budget in this conference going forward in the Mountain West and in the Pac-12, by the way. You're just going to be playing in a much different pool than you want to. So we'll see. I don't know. Yeah. I see all of you commenting about the bots.
We're in a place where we have so many bots that people are competing for how many they've reported. Nice, guys.
Johnny Gonzalez, I've got 6 bots. James, keep up. I'm rooting for Gloria. I truly like her approach to college football. I don't know that you can root for or against. I really don't know. And Donuts, a member for 26 months. Here's to a great football season and Team Monty banter. Thank you. I know that was about an hour ago that you put that in there. My bad. I appreciate that. Here on the Monty Show. Speaking of which, let's get Prize Picks rolling. We've got tens of thousands of you watching the show. Open a new Prize Picks account using the promo code Monty, M-O-N-T-Y, Monty. And you deposit $5, they'll give you 50 more in free plays. Dudes, Avery Johnson's the free play right now, and it's a phenomenal free play as well. He's half a yard. He is half a yard. And all you have to do, and one of the things I really like is, like, they do this Flex Friday thing, 40% payout boost. So if you open a Prize Picks account today and you include that payout boost, you get paid 40% more when you win. They want you to do well on Prize Picks, right? And I think I am not in that group of people who are doing well. I had won 2 of 3 for 4 straight plays.
Mm-hmm.
Let me give you the formula. Download the app, use the promo code Monty to open a new Prize Picks account. Just deposit $5. Good to go, right? They'll give you 50 more in free plays. Then just do a 3-pick. So that means, like, Avery Johnson, more than half a yard passing, right? Like, that's the easy one. Dak Prescott is also the free play, half a yard passing in week 1. So I'll build you a Cubs one right now. Avery Johnson, half a yard passing. Okay, I'm going to go over to Major League Baseball. And if Jake were still here, I would ask him to get the roofing nail gun so I could just drive roofing nails through my nuts right now when I pick the Cubs, who are in Anaheim tonight. I asked my wife to get on a plane and go to Anaheim for the weekend to watch the Cubs, and she said, no. Okay. Can I play golf this weekend? No.
No.
I'm not allowed to play golf, and I can't go to Anaheim.
No.
Okay. I'll live a miserable lifestyle, and we'll live unhappily ever after. By the way, I got my season ticket renewal for the Cubs. Big increase in ticket prices. Congratulations, but you got to pay Jed's contract somehow, right? Prick.
Because this team is just hot
ass. Javier Assad, the starting pitcher for the beloved. 4 strikeouts, more or less, Jake. What do you think?
I would probably go less, but I don't know, man. That's kind of sketch, I feel like.
Why is it? Why do you hate me? Is it a thing where you just don't?
Well, because instead of playing Javier Assad and his average ass, you could be playing Ronald Acuna Jr. to have 1 single in his game tonight, and he's had a single every game for the last 5 games.
Can you tell me that? Can you? Yeah, and you probably, you're not a very intelligent person, Jake. So I don't think you know this.
Right.
Which team leads the league in batter strikeouts?
I don't know.
Would it possibly be the Los Angeles Angels who play in Anaheim?
Maybe.
Go ahead and click more on Javier. Yeah, boy. Let me go ahead and click more on Javier Assad. No, it's not erroneous.
Erroneous on both counts.
No, it's not. Jake is not smart, and the Angels have struck out more than any other team in Major League Baseball.
Timothy.
That's for you, Jake.
Thank you.
Sucking a ding dong.
You're welcome. So I'm definitely taking my guy, but we've got Ronald Acuna Jr.
Yeah. Oh,
the Braves. But we've got, did you guys see Boston last night? Jesus.
Cheese and rice.
Cheese and rice, Sam, man. First, look, you guys probably don't. If I told you that a rookie was going to bat flip the Yankees in the 9th to win a Boston Yankees game, Rome Anthony hit a ball that is not landed yet. A 2-run shot to take it from 4-3 to 6-3. Red Sox win, and he bat flipped the hell out of the Yankees last night. Do you see retaliation, Jake? You're a rookie at the stadium, and you're going to bat flip the New York Yankees. You are going down, sir. Yes. Don't you have to take him down?
Yes.
Which way do you lean in this game, though? Do you lean Yankees?
You gotta lean Yankees, dude. They're not. You can't do that again, bro. You can't do that again. You should
just Roman Anthony, go watch the bat flip. It's worth it because it is incredible. And the reason I think that you have to go Yankees, because you got my guy Max Fried pitching tonight.
Yeah.
Right. And I think if you go Yankees offense, hits, runs, and RBIs is my favorite category. And there's a lot of Yankees who are hot right now. But I need to figure out, like, you're facing a guy that's got a 3.23 ERA who has previously gone 7 innings, 3 hits, no earned, 8 Ks against the Yankees. Do the Yankees get him back here? He's a guy that you look at his splits for Brian Bello. You look at his splits. He's a 3.60 ERA on the road, 2 and 3. He's given up 8 home runs away, 6 home runs at home. Strikes out half the guys on the road that he does at home. boy, that feels like you gotta lean on the New York Yankees.
Yeah,
I don't know how you don't.
I would agree.
Right. So I don't know which way to go with this, but who are you taking?
Yeah, so I went Ronald Acuna Jr. for a single tonight.
God, why did you steal that from me?
Bro, I did not steal that from you. You stole that from me, you little thief.
No, I didn't. No, I didn't.
And then I have some positions that have met my criteria. In the A's and Athletics game.
Certainly.
Daryl Hernandez, more than 3.5 hitter fantasy score. And Nick Kurtz
is that guy?
I don't know, but he's been putting out lately. So we're taking his ass.
So is your mom.
Yeah, Nick Kurtz, more than 6.5 hitter fantasy score.
Has a pretty good podcast too.
Yeah. So there you go.
I need one more here, and we're in the do I just take Schwarber for the rest of the game?
Oh, I forgot. I also have I did one earlier I forgot about, bro.
Did you really?
I did. I took Kyle Schwarber, more than 7.5 hitter fantasy score. Trey Turner, more than 9.5 because he had 32 last night or whatever. So
yeah, Trey Turner went off.
And then I got Bobby Witt for a hit, run, an RBI on a goblin. So hopefully that game just started. So hopefully those guys come through, and they're losing 3-0, by the way. So that's good news.
Losing. Which way do you go here? This is tough, dude. I mean, I look at Lindor's been really good for me lately.
Mm-hmm.
I think I'm going to go 2.5 hits, runs, and RBIs for Lindor. Let's lock it in.
Yeah, lock it in.
I don't know what that means.
Yeah, we're not making any changes.
I think that's the way you go here. Yeah. Let's do that. Sucking a ding dong.
Sucking a ding dong.
I'm locked in. Lindor for more than 2.5 hits, runs, and RBIs. Javier Assad more than 4 strikeouts, and Avery Johnson more than half a yard pass.
Timothy.
See what I got for you, boys. That's what we do. We teach you how to win at Prize Picks. Pause, bro. Reister JP, if Al Gore didn't invent the internet, we wouldn't have bots, so screw that guy too.
Right.
Fucking asshole.
Yeah.
I don't disagree with you. The bots are
excessive.
They are, and I get it, you guys. We try.
We all gotta have our backdoor side alley streams.
Oh, yeah. Protect that back door. Oh,
and girth.
General Sue now making a violent exit is not good. Okay,
well, man, that's wow.
Stadium guy James, how about we all put brother in our comments to see if he will play the soundbite. Brother. Big Daddy Magic. Well, I'm going on my date. Have a good weekend. Whoa! You're going on a date? What's her name?
Yeah. You're going on a date, and James is charting. We've heard this before.
Big Daddy Magic, what is wrong with you lately? Like, are you mad at me? I miss you in all the videos you send me naked on the streets and stuff. By the way, Joey Harper sent me his picks. He's got Cade Povich for more than 5 strikeouts. Casey Mize for more than 5 strikeouts on a demon, and Luis Morales for more than 5 strikeouts for the Oakland Sacramento.
Okay, so his criteria was 5 strikeouts for all of his dudes.
Yeah. What's the Big Daddy Magic has not sent me a video. Listen.
Hey, player, look at this. 7 cop cars, player. I'm just out here, mind my own business, being a law-abiding, smoking my weed, proud American, and all these cops are around. Me, player.
Waves in
opposition.
opposition.
I mean, listen, I wouldn't say law-abiding citizens walk around and smoke weed. But where have you gone, dude? Like, we used to be besties, and now you're just like telling me to pound sand and stuff. You know.
Maybe not. Maybe fuck yourself.
Yeah, that's kind of what I feel like you're telling me to do here, Big Daddy Magic, and I don't appreciate it.
You can leave, or you can stay and shut up and act like an adult.
I mean, I guess I'll just return the Buffalo Bills shirt I never got you. I'm not charting, brother. I'm headed home after. Okay, stop telling us you had surgery. Tell us about the surgery.
Brother.
You guys are such cock.
Was it in the stock room at Walmart?
Hey guys, can you? I love the guys who are like, "Oh, thoughts and prayers. I'm having surgery right now."
Fuck you.
What? Give me the surgery. Oh no, bro, I had surgery. Man, I gotta tell you, I was on the table and I saw a white light at the end of the tunnel, and Jesus Christ. Jerry Springer came to me in the afterlight. He walked out of that bright white tunnel at the end of Elysium, and he said, "Look, Oak State, James, you cannot die yet because there's too much suffering and stool water this season.
In God's name, image, and likeness.
So you get your ass back down there and you finish this surgery like a champ, boy. Men don't need their testicles anyway." And then you got Gumby being like, "Oh, get well, James." Shut up.
Hell no.
Really, what did you have your rectory worked on? Like, what's the surgery about?
Brother.
The surgery went very well. I feel
okay,
great.
But
nobody
what
cares.
was the surgery?
Nobody. I want to hear about the lesions that you had lasered off. Used to be married to a Walmart manager. Tell me you didn't get scabies.
Length and girth.
I know how that game is played, sir. Lay down with fleas, you'll get a dog.
Brother.
See what I did there? Lay down with fleas, you get it. Lay down with fleas, you get it. Okay. I'm off work. College football tomorrow morning. How is Europe beating us at having Big 12 games first? Bunch of jerks.
Yeah, stick to your soccer.
Yeah, pricks. How about Chelsea Football Club today?
Did they raise ticket prices too, or
should I keep buying season tickets? My wife has told me I'm not allowed to buy Cubs season tickets because I'm a bad boy.
Are we clear on that?
Nothing? You guys got nothing on that for me?
Because you're a bad boy.
Oh, Timmy, you're such a bad boy.
Timothy.
No, we renewed for 3 years today.
Sucking a ding dong.
Oh my God! Well, how are they not playing Kyle Tucker? This is outrageous.
No, I don't want them to play Kyle Tucker.
I'm not buying season tickets again, even though I renewed for 3 years. But we're not talking about that. How could they not?
I don't want them to sign Kyle Tucker.
Yeah, because then season ticket prices would go up more to pay for Buddy's contract.
And it is what we're going to go to the postseason. And now all of a sudden, my wife changed her big trip so she can go to the playoffs at Wrigley Field. Because I asked Jake, you guys want to know how shitty my life is? I said to Jake this morning, dude,
stay hard.
Cubs are going to the playoffs. They pretty much locked it up. It's almost a mathematical impossibility that they wouldn't, right?
Yeah, but I don't want to go to Wrigley Field against a team that's clearly going to beat them and have you be crying over them losing in the playoffs. That's not an enjoyable experience for either of us. I mean, come on.
Hey, Jake, you want to go to let's plan this trip because we were going to do a golf trip in October, but Jake doesn't golf anymore. So now it's like, hey, dude, you want to go to Chicago for the playoffs? Sounds fun, but I'm going to have to see what the matchup is. You think that's funny?
Yeah, I do, because it's the right answer.
No, it's not.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is.
I don't know who you are anymore. I don't know who you are.
If you guys ever want to kick it, we'll flow.
I don't know who you are. And Donuts, update on the stadium in Ireland. What's wrong with the stadium?
What's wrong with the stadium? What do you mean?
What are we
referencing?
I don't know.
Do we have another turf gate happening or what's
going on?
Brother?
I don't know. What do we?
Brother.
I think I would have heard about it already. Learn more about the Avia Stadium and why the field turf might give an edge to the Cyclones on Saturday.
Okay,
College
so we do have
football
turf gate.
No, it's a great stadium. I don't know what you mean. Oak State James. Dude, what kind of seat? I don't want another comment. I don't want another comment. Now you wanted thoughts and prayers, which are useless, but you wanted thoughts and prayers.
Fuck you.
You're not dead, right? You survived the surgery.
Dude, there's another comment. Dude, you got to get your boy in line here, bro. He is going full avoiding right now.
Dude, I'll mute you. I will not.
We're just gonna stop the whole show. We're not doing any more show until you comment on what the hell happened.
Thailand, James was the blue light special lady, the same one you called ugly. She worked at Walmart, not Kmart. Cubs Marlins is not fun. It's not going to be Cubs and Marlins. Douchebags. Like it should be. Oh, my dad wants me to go to Chicago to, just to see a Major League Baseball playoff game. We're going to go have a great time. I don't have to pay for the tickets. Nah, I don't think I want to go.
That's not what I said.
Fuck it. I don't want to go.
That's not what I said, dude.
Why would I go?
That's not what I said.
Go. I'm not going.
Don't lie to me.
I'm going to Chicago for the playoffs. What?
James, still waiting, bro. Still waiting.
Yeah. It's fine, Jake. You want to be a jerk about it and avoid. You and James can avoid together, right?
Doesn't make you feel responsible.
It's fine. It's fine. I just, right now, let me see. Where would the Cubs be? Let's see. The Cubs would be 4th in the National League right now. So who's 5th? The Cubs would get the Padres.
Okay, that's a good matchup.
Yeah, well, you're not going now.
Okay, well, I guess that's tough shit for me then, isn't it?
Monty needs a new Jake. Yes, I do. Blue light, blue vest, same thing. Exactly right.
James, still waiting, bro. Anytime. Yeah. Anytime.
Yeah. K-State is a better grass team. Have always been. Iowa State is historically better on turf. This changes everything. Okay. All right.
Okay, there it is.
Wow. They shoved an electrode up your ass to make your colon work better? It's awesome. So they electrified your butthole and you're like, dude, it's awesome. Couldn't have done that.
Dude, when are we going to Buc-ee's, bro?
The device in me.
I need a dick in me.
Sends electrical impulses to my colon to make it work better. It's awesome. It sends an electrode to my colon. It makes it work better. Okay. Hey, man.
What I just said.
Bro, is there a remote for that thing? Are you able to double time it?
Are you the chick at the Jets game and the husband was working the remote and she was losing her mind? Like, does your wife have the remote so when you sass off, she just turns that electrode up and
Daddy?
It's just flowing right through your colon? Is that what that would? Wow.
Bro.
Wow. You probably you should have lied. You're like, my rotator cuff got torn. Yeah. I went Coach Prime. I had an ingrown toenail. No big deal. Yeah. I think that probably would have been better than I had an electrode shoved up my ass so that my colon looks better.
It's ridiculous.
Because we're going to need to know some more details on that.
Bro, electrified butthole.
Listen, I'm Oak State James. Oak State James. They electrify that butthole, Monty. Listen, hey, James, I hope it works for you, bud. Because
does it improve the quality of dump you take? Is that a thing?
Can you improve? So wait, if you put an electrode in your colon, it improves the quality of dump you take.
Butthole.
Is that true? Yeah, just sign me up,
dude.
If I can get back to dropping redwoods, just sign me up.
Come on, let's go, Schlep Rock.
I mean, I'll buy the Vaseline. Let's do this thing. Like, you ain't got to ask me 3 times.
Yeah, I've been immunized.
Right? I mean, if that's what we're talking about. I mean, is this like oatmeal? So you're telling me they make an electrified fiber? Is that what this does, James? Like,
feel me?
Do you plug it in?
Does it charge while you're on the crapper?
James, a lie sometimes is better than the truth. I'm saying. And donuts. WTF, James? Yeah.
And
Hey,
as you
man.
can see, I'm going through some shit right now.
Listen, what you do with your prostate, James, is up to you until you share it on the show, and then it's up to us.
Okay, more details here. More details.
They use this for people who have bladder issues also. It helps them have better control. Wow. But you don't have bladder issues. You got butthole issues, right? Like because didn't you tell us you had colitis or something? No, one day you straight up said you were bleeding out the butthole. Like
that's literally how you worded it.
I mean, a little TMI if it's for me. I would be like, oh yeah, I just had sepsis and it almost killed me, but I'm fine now, guys.
Yeah, no big deal. No big deal.
Nobody said boo.
You know, you may have gone with I'm a sex maniac who's starved for the kitties, so I went and got clipped. Okay, cool.
Issue.
We got it.
Yeah.
You know, like shaking an empty ketchup bottle.
Damn,
hey man,
bro.
You know,
dude, that is such an excessive comment right there, Gumby. Are you for real right now with that?
Give him thoughts and prayers. He just had surgery.
Yeah, thoughts and prayers. That'll fix it all, dude. Don't worry about it.
You know,
not a big deal.
Throwing power, 99%. Throwing accuracy. Well, there you go. There you go. Thailand. Wow, James, keep digging. You won't put a shovel down, but please continue.
Jesus Christ.
That's what I'm saying. The collinator. Okay,
the collinator.
Guys, that Bucky's brisket. Let me tell you, it hits a little different to the point where I had to go in and get a collinator shoved up my ass, but it solved it.
That way, when I'm in the shitbox Honda on my way to the rectory, when I get to the rectory, that thing just comes right out. Not a big deal.
And I also got to tell you, Bucky's has a beautiful bathroom, so I just slam that brisket, boom, hit go on the electrode, and we're in business. You know,
have you slam it into the collinator?
You know what I'm saying? Like I eat that brisket, walk into the bathroom, plug that motherfucker into the wall, and boom. Browns are going to the Super Bowl, baby.
Dude. Dude, plug that thing in.
James is like, honey, you need to run this light because I got to plug this thing in.
Having fun is the name of the game.
I'm walking around Barnes and Noble right now. Who are you? Is the cord hanging out your pant leg? I feel great looking for a good college football preview magazine. Oh, well, Phil Steele. There's only one.
Well, Phil Steele and the Collinator 2000. I mean, that's.
And listen, Phil Steele does pretty much every team. So when you plug that thing in and you got 20 minutes to sit on your hindquarters, do it.
Like for instance,
do it, bro. You do you, man. Nobody here is going to judge you. Okay, well, that's a lie. We're going to judge you hard. But, I mean, it is what it is. It is what it is. Does this Barnes & Noble have a Starbucks? Exactly. Big Daddy Magic. Okay, so now your term, Big Daddy Magic. What is this date about?
Yeah, what's the date about, dude?
And how come you're not sending me any more videos? What are you upset about? I hope you feel better, James. I hope you're in perfect health so you can mail me a 3X Buffalo Bills jersey when they kill the Chiefs for America. It always ends there, doesn't it? James, you're a really nice guy, and I feel really bad that your butthole's broken. And now that you had the surgery, I hope you feel better. Because I really am going to have to make you pay that bet. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Yeah, they do. Yeah, they do. Yeah, they do. And the wife wants Starbucks. Okay. The wife you mean
so wait,
Starbucks.
How does the wife feel about the Collinator 8000? Is she happy with it? Like, how does this all work into the James Rectory Honda wife situation?
How do we always get here with you? It's always something about the Walmart manager. You're in the rectory. You drove through the rectory with a Honda Civic. Like, and now you lubed up an electrode for your colon.
It is what it is.
Is this what Football Friday on the Monty Show is going to be every week?
Apparently.
Oh, my God. Yes, for America. I'm going to start using that one. When the Buffalo Bills knock off the Kansas City Chiefs, for America. MAGA, bitches.
Pretty much.
Like, That's amazing. The surgery gives me better control. It's a good thing. So were you having no control of the butthole? Bro.
Hold on. Okay, wait. I have questions now. Sorry. So you got to a place where you didn't have control, but you were still eating at Buc-ee's, according to you.
Yeah. How do you eat all this fast food and wonder why your butthole doesn't work right?
I mean, I'm not trying to be an a-hole here, but that's a legitimate question, bro.
Hot ass.
I am, yeah, exactly. James is now an EV. Nah, he's actually a hybrid.
Damn, bro. Wow.
Yeah,
Oh my God. James, stop eating out. If you're in all seriousness, lubing your butthole aside.
Bro.
Perhaps play a little game called Just the Tip.
If you're having issues with a loose bowel, might want to stop eating out, especially fast food. Damn. And donuts, excuse me while I change my batteries.
Butthole.
I don't want to know how it works. Big Daddy Magic, wait a second. I eat fast food 24 times a month.
Are you out of your goddamn mind?
So let me get this. Okay, the picture of health, Big Daddy Magic. I smoke weed. I drink until I pass out. So I need you to give me your credit card for my Uber account. And wow. I eat fast food 24 times a month.
Man.
Perling, we will know the effects of his surgery by the quote quality of his post. Probably.
Right.
Probably. Conundrum, is there a patent on the Colinator? Colinator 6000 right here on the shopping network. You buy 2 Colinators, we'll throw in the lube for free right now. 800, get that butt.
Butthole.
Right? Oh, the sensitivity this show emits is brilliant. Let me tell you something right here on the Colinator 6000. It's got a dial for that sensitivity. When you really want to be putting out that product, turn that bad boy up.
Oh my God, just like that. Oh.
It also comes with a plug-in model, and trust me when I say you want to plug that bad boy in when you're already sitting on the can.
That's right, T.
Can you imagine? Plug-in? No. Dude, like Dion talking about having a bat, like he...
Bro said, I depend on Depends.
That's amazing. Johnny Gonzalez, we are talking about bowl season before the first kickoff, only on the Showgram. Exactly right.
I mean, obviously. I mean, it's a requirement.
My wife reminded me last week when I got my ass handed to me in bowling. I'm a terrible bowler. We used to be on a bowling team called the Bowl Movement. There you go. Can't wait for the sequel, Colinator 2, Fudgment Day.
Stay hard.
When you buy the Colinator 6000 right here on the shopping channel, we'll throw in Costco butt wipes for free.
And here is a 10-pack of attachments to go with it.
So not only do you get the Colinator 6000, but wait, there's more. You get the plug-in model, you get the free lube, and you get the moist flushable wipes for that butthole. Like,
sign me up.
Sensitivity is overrated. 100%. Sensitivity is overrated. All right, couple other things. Can we ask you guys about In-N-Out real quick?
Bro, what are we doing at In-N-Out, bro? Like, speaking of Colinator 800 million, what the hell is have you guys seen this In-N-Out in Washington? How long are you willing to wait to get a burger at a new In-N-Out joint?
First of all, in the comments section, pro or anti In-N-Out? Pro or anti In-N-Out?
Pro In-N-Out burger, anti In-N-Out fries, and everything else at In-N-Out.
I think the double-double is good. Now, admittedly, it has been some time since I had the Colinator 6000, otherwise known as a double-double.
Yeah.
Now that's stuck on my brain. But if look at the staff. First of all, let me show you the outside. Here's the first In-N-Out in Washington State.
This is the line for In-N-Out.
Not a chance.
Opening day.
Nope.
It's a 2-hour wait.
Don't care. Not a chance.
Not worth it.
Nope.
Not worth it. In and out. I'm getting in and out of here. That's what I'm doing.
See what he did there.
What a loser.
2.5 hours?
No.
2.5 hours only then to get this? Bro, I don't want that job. Are you crazy? You want to work the fry machine in that joint today? Or tomorrow? Or next week? Or next month?
Dude, just the army of people in that small of a space trying to keep up. Like no. You open an In-N-Out. I would love to see the P&L and the breakout of how many patties you need to sustain for your first month at In-N-Out. I mean, it's got to be 10,000 patties at least.
You have no idea. I mean, can you imagine? Do you know how much money they must? I mean, I'm sure they make it.
Yeah.
But you know how much money they must spend to run that restaurant the first 2 months it's open? I can't even imagine that. I can't even imagine it. Charlie, when they first opened in Denver, people waited 8 hours.
Like, I just can't fathom that, dude.
For what? What I'm at, like, the burger is not that good. Like, and I'm not even trying to be a red ass. The burger is not that good.
No, it's not.
Very simply put, it is not that good. And I'm not the guy that's going to wait 8 hours to get saturated fat I can get down the street.
Yeah. Hell no.
Right? I'm not doing that. In and out all day, every day. Really?
And I think sorry, go ahead. What is
no,
it?
That's all right. Go for it. What do you want?
Well, what I was going to say is I think like In-N-Out in SoCal, the vibes are good. Like I'm down to do In-N-Out in SoCal by the beach because it's like it's a vibe, you know, like you're in Southern California.
Still suck, dude.
Yeah, like I agree they still suck, but you know, it's fun. But like just on the regular, I'm not like, oh man, God, I gotta have it. Like that's just not. It's not that high up the food chain.
Yeah, I don't. Double has a bad habit of leading to a double dribble. I like it.
Yeah,
shocking.
See, that's my thing about In-N-Out, dude.
Breaking news: Oak State James.
Just the Cullinator 8000 is his new name, man.
Mr. Cullinator. I like In-N-Out Burger, but I have been trying to eat healthier. That's a lie. The lie detector determined that's a lie.
Yeah, why do you lie, dude? Like what? Like
the lie detector test determined that was a lie.
You are not trying to eat better. I don't buy that for a second.
Kiss my butt.
The last burger I had was an Impossible Burger at PK, and I like them.
Okay, those are actually good. Those are good.
I don't believe you at all. No, thank you, In-N-Out Burger. Not waiting long. Stupid burger. Not at all.
That's the thing.
Their
burger doesn't suck, but it's not 2.5 hours for no reason good. That's the difference.
No chance. Big shout out to Brian Anderson, the newest member of the Monty Show.
No.
Good to see you. Do you remember the Colon Blow cereal commercial from Saturday Night Live? Oh, do tell. Of course I do. Obligatory preseason In-N-Out greater than Five Guys.
Dude,
Stop.
no. You say things like that, you're gonna get dropped. Fuck you. Fuck you. I mean, that's a terrible take, Gumby. That is an absolute trash take.
The gal who owns In-N-Out is out of Cali. She is moving their headquarters.
Yeah.
Which is cool. I'm like, hey man, you do you.
Yeah, that's fine.
You do you on the Monty Show, presented by our good friends at The Advocates, theadvocates.com, the best injury attorneys in the business. As always and forever, we appreciate The Advocates. Be careful this weekend, you guys. It's one of the last weekends of summer. You and I both know kids are going to be on their bikes. Jake's an idiot. He'll be out driving his Golf R, GTI, Volkswagen, Jetta. Watch out if you're in Eugene, Jake will run that ass over. And if it happens, get to The Advocates. How is the Golf R?
Excellent. Love it.
It's not as good as the X4M competition.
I would agree.
Got to make some bids. If the worst happens, get to theadvocates.com. Until Monday, K-State by 4.
K-State by 1.
Until Monday, say goodbye, Jake.
Goodbye, Jake.